we are. We are live on Facebook, Jeff, with the Hard Rock and Sports Show, 347-826-9993 and 4. And welcome to Thursday night and our 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the hard world of hard rock and heavy metal and, of course, sports. And, guys, we have all sorts of technical issues on the radio side. As soon as I finish with my dad, I'm going to bury the radio and just concentrate on live stream. But, Jeff, how was your week, brother?
Well, it was relatively quiet, especially since I was doing another stint in jail.
Yes. I for everybody out there who doesn't know, we our good friend Jeff about a week or so ago. Was it a week or 2 weeks?
What's today's date? 2 days ago.
You got out of jail 2 days ago?
Oh no, I was out of jail like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, Jeff finished a 30-day stint in the Facebook jail for charges we won't bring up anymore. And 2 days ago was banned for another 30 days for using the word. Yeah,
Tranny.
Jeff, tell me what you did.
Tranny, when somebody posts a video of some fucking hideous looking woman / guy, and I ask, is that a tranny? It is deemed punishable by 30 days in Facebook jail.
Yeah. So, in response, I felt that this was a egregious penalty.
It is.
And I've organized.
It is. It is an egregious.
It is, Jeff. So I've organized a concert in Jeff's behalf,
which I appreciate. That is very cool of you.
Yes.
I'm still hoping that a religious figure steps forward and will,
you had two
himself a guess.
You had two requests. One was for a religious figure to light himself on fire,
just like those monks used to do.
All right, and you had another request that I would not make for you.
Hey, you're the one that's got to talk to him, not me.
Yeah, Louis Pica says he's offended by the word tranny. So,
well, I'm offended by him being offended.
So we're going to get to a little bit, but yeah, May 23rd at 8:00, we will be doing a live stream concert right here on Facebook. We have at least 4 people already on board. I got a couple more people on board. I'll tell you, Jay Giaccio's in, Bill Graziano's in, Bob Pecora, Father Bob will be playing.
Father Bob, does that mean I got to be cool?
No, Father Bob's. Listen, I have to tell you, Father Bob is Father Bob.
He's a little bit more. What is the word we're looking for when a priest, is a little bit more, less conservative, shall we say?
Maybe a little less conservative. He's so Father Bob will be joining us. Raul Fuentes, and then I got a couple more people who are in. Mark Scott, our good friend from Trickster, the drummer, has a new single out called "Give It to Me Good." It's the 30th anniversary of that hit song, and he's re-released the 30th anniversary edition of it. So Mark will be calling in to offer you some words of encouragement that night, and we're working on some other guests, some past show guests, maybe to call in and have some fun with it. But at that night, we'll do the show, and we'll have some people performing for everybody. And it's beside it's obviously to support Jeff in his time of need. But to me, it's also, Jeff, it's a concert against it's anti-politically correctness.
100%, man, 100%.
If the Hard Rock and Sports Show is anti-politically correctness, we also the Washington Redskins and Christopher Columbus.
When does the witch hunt end?
Listen, I don't believe that anybody should be able to walk into a crowded theater and yell fire. I don't believe. I don't agree with a lot of things people say, but I agree that they should be allowed to say them. And the fact that this country has become so politically correct annoys the crap out of me, Jeff. And for you to get banned for using the word tranny, and also, Lou, we want to remind you that the Washington Redskins and Christopher Columbus murdered the Indians. He wanted me to make sure you knew that.
But he's fucking offended by the word tranny.
Yeah, so, but we're going to get to a lot of sports.
Does this guy work for Facebook by any chance?
No, Louis does not work for Facebook.
In the review department.
But, we got a lot to talk about. I want to talk a little baseball. We got a lot of football to get to. I want to rip Stephen A. Smith. I got to ask the question. I'm going to get my dad on the radio side, Jeff, so I'm going to try to translate what's going on that end. But I want to talk about why everybody on all the gas bags, as they're called. I saw Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, so many different guys all wanted to know why it's a travesty that Cam Newton doesn't have a job. He's a former MVP. 5 years ago, he was an MVP, Jeff. 5 years ago. He hasn't been great since then. It's not a surprise he doesn't have a job right now.
Slow down there, Bucky.
Oh,
Pick your old man up, and
right,
then we're going to
let's
get
get
into
my
this.
dad
And
on.
I'll tell you right now,
Good.
we started touching base on this a couple weeks ago, and then we put it off. Once we start talking about it, I don't give a fuck if God is on the other end of the line looking to call in. We're going to finish this shit.
All right, we're going to get to it. Let's get my dad on and have some fun with him. So let's get my father. Where is he? Hey, Pop, what's going on? Yeah, I know. We're having all sorts of technical problems. So you and I are going to talk, and I'll try to relay it back and forth to Jeff. So, yeah.
You can't put that on speaker?
Could try. Hold on.
See what happens? I can't hear him.
I gotta be honest with you. The way he came out with it, he sounded like a jerk. But the theory of what he said, I can understand. If you're gonna sit there and tell me that I have to take a pay cut, play baseball, that's fine and dandy. You're telling me there's no fans in the stands, that's fine and dandy. Open up your books and let me look. If what you say is true, then I'll agree to it. But if you're gonna just sit there and have me take your words for it, you must think that I fell out of a tree, okay, with coconuts in my arm. Now, I don't think anybody in their right mind would listen to a boss, unless he's, even if he's related. I understand all that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Dad. But
you play
wait.
baseball, you play for the good of the country. Nobody works for the good of the country. I don't care who he is, unless he's Jesus himself. He's not working for the good of the country.
But here's the thing, Dad.
And I'm not saying the guy's wrong. If you're going to tell me that I got to take half my salary.
But you're playing half the season. But Dad, you're playing half the season. They're not saying play. Nobody's. Wait.
Show me that you're losing money.
Doesn't matter. Wait, Dad. Dad, hold on a second. It doesn't matter. The owners are allowed to make money or lose money. Here's what, and I agree with the owners on this point. You make $1 million a year to play 160 games. You're only playing 80 games. You're going to get half your salary. I don't understand why they're entitled to an entire salary just because they play baseball.
Was he talking about getting the whole thing?
Yeah, they want to be paid their entire salary.
I thought, from what I understood, what he was saying, and what they were talking about on the TV today was not only they want them, which is understandable. If you're making $2 million a year and you're only playing 82 games, 81 games, fine. You should only get $1 million a year. But now what they're saying is, but also they want them to take a pay cut because they lose 30 to 40% of their people, of their money.
Yeah, because no people stand. All right, so then here's what you do.
Show me your books.
Right. So but you can't show them the books now, Dad. Here's what you got to say: we'll take half our salary for the season, and then at the end of the year, we will all sit down with the books, and if you lost money or you made money, we'll talk. I get it, but Dad, here's the thing: you will sign the death bell for baseball if you don't play and you sit here and argue while people are losing their jobs, people losing their businesses.
That's only one guy. That's what's wrong with today with TV.
Right.
Politics.
Yeah.
And he said something, and everybody thinks baseball didn't come, the Players Union didn't come back and say that. Okay? It's just one jerk.
Yeah.
And you're always going to find one jerk, two jerks, and even a handful of jerks.
I get it.
Are going to turn around and say that.
Hold on a second. Dad, hold on a second. Jeff, you hearing this at all?
I hear some of it, and I read some of the stuff that your father is talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't know if your dad could hear me at all.
No, he can't hear you, so I'm going to replay. So right now, Jeff's going to respond to essentially, Scott Boras, one of the agents, came out today and basically said that the NFL not only wants the players to play for half of their money, but he wants them to take less money than that because they won't be bringing in any revenue from people in the stands. So not only do they want them to take a pay cut because they're only playing half a season, but they.
I heard that too.
Yeah, so that's what the owners are looking for. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with the owners there. I agree with both sides.
Yeah.
All I say to you is, I want to see your book. You show me.
Listen, of course. Listen, of course you got to show them the books, Jeff. Don't you agree? If you're the NFL owners and you're trying to sell this to the players, you need to sell this.
NFL or Major League Baseball?
I'm sorry, Major League Baseball. I apologize. If you're Major League Baseball, you need to sell this to the owners that way.
Well,
sell it to the players. Sorry.
Listen, the players should have already been under the impression that, we're going to play half a season, then we're going to get, half a season's pay. After this year and the next time that the CBA gets signed, you better believe there's going to be a provision for this in there. There'll definitely be something in there. You know that. And, I mean, some of these baseball players are making God knows how much a year. So if you're getting half a year's salary, you're still getting 10 times more than I'm making a year. So,
yeah, Jeff, you're right.
You got to look at it that way too. These guys are still making more money than some people are making a lifetime.
Sorry, Jeff, I got my dad in here. Yeah, listen. No, again, if Jeff, my dad made a good point. If the players don't want to play because of the virus and they're afraid of getting sick and dying and all the ramifications for that, while I don't really like it, I can understand that, and that to me is a valid reason. If you came and said, "Hey, I'm afraid of for my life and I don't want to play regardless of the money," Jeff, I think everybody would understand it. But you can't. Again, that's a better.
That's a crack of shit. Offer those guys their full salary and see how many of them are going to walk away and say they're not going to play.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Right. Correct. Right. You're right. Yeah, there's correct. Correct. And yes, and that's what my dad's agreeing with Jeff on this one. But Jeff, you're right. It shouldn't matter to me. Listen, you can get the same sick being paid $500,000 or $1 million. So to me, that's a. But if you say to me, listen, I don't care if you pay me triple my salary, I don't want to play. I'm okay with that because that at least is valid. It's a valid excuse in this time. But you cannot, if you're baseball players and owners, and legitimately come back 2 weeks from now and say, we're not going to play this year because we can't come to agreement on money. I'm sorry. It'll put the knife in their back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's going to tarnish baseball for financial reasons, without a doubt. The dumbest thing they ever did was bring this to the public.
Hold on, Jeff.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a shame that it listen. Would you go to Rolls Royce and pay for half a car and expect to get a full car?
No, definitely not.
No. Okay, so these baseball players have to understand that too. They're paid to play 162 games. It's covered if they get hurt.
Yeah.
So,
and Jeff, Dad. Yeah. So Jeff, you're right. You gotta if you're a baseball, if you gotta find a way to make this go. You gotta find a way to get this to work right. Joe, if you're listening, I have to kill the radio show. If you want to try it on video, give me text me. But I'm having tons of problems. I'm going to go strictly live stream tonight. So if you got a chance and you want to join the live stream, Joe, by all means. Otherwise, right now, I got to kill the radio. I'm going to kill the radio show. I got too many problems on it tonight. I'm sorry, brother. But text me. I'd love to have you try to call in on the video if you're interested. So that was Joey who was going to try to get involved. Pop, I got to kill this feed because it's giving me a hard time right now. So, but thanks for calling in, Pop. I appreciate it. I will tell him you said hello. Thanks, Pop. That's my dad. Yeah, we're going to kill the radio portion of this show. Unfortunately, it is not working, so I'm going to shut it off. We're going to stay strictly to the live stream tonight. So anybody out there, thanks for joining us. Hard Rocket Sports here every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30 on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and of course on our live stream catching us on our Facebook page. Make sure you check out hardrocketsports.com. We should have, we're probably only going to have one guest at about 8:15. Damon Johnson will check in. I was hoping to have Joey talk a little baseball with us. Carmine Glorioso talk a little baseball with us.
We need to stop this nonsense.
Okay, what nonsense do you want to talk about?
Stephen A. Smith. Don't pick nobody up, no nothing. We need to get this out of the way.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Go ahead. You brought it up. Well, tell us what you said.
I don't even know if I want to get into the Stephen A. Smith too much.
We got it.
We will. But I want to talk about Cam Newton. And the problem with Cam Newton is
Stephen A. first.
Okay. All right, so let's get to Stephen A. I listened to some stuff this week on Stephen A. just for the hell of it. And I wanted to bring it up and get it on the air with us. But he says nothing. He's in the true sense of a windbag. He's a windbag who has no real knowledge of sports. I don't even know if he watches sports.
But so far what you're saying, I agree with most of what you're saying, but I gotta disagree a little bit. He knows what he's saying. He likes to take the knife and twist it.
Oh, I agree with that.
He goes for the knife that's there, and he likes to give it a couple little twists and zings, because never once does he ever say, listen, Cam, what do you want out of this? This is the way it is. It's a bad market. The coronavirus, the blah, 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 blah. None of that. Mm-hmm. First thing he does, he says, I don't understand why this guy's not playing. And whenever he says anything, he always tries to take that angle where he has it borderline racist. And I just do not like it. Do not like it at all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've listened to enough of his stuff, and he has an overview. Obviously, he spends 10 minutes before he's talking on what it is he wants to say. But
does he have somebody else do it for him?
One or the other. Somebody's handing him notes. But he has, if you ask him a follow-up question, like he's one of those guys who can come out there and talk to nobody and just do 10 or 15 minutes on a topic. But if you kick back a question to him and say, oh, well, what about this? He's lost because he's never dug deep enough into it. So that's the problem with Stephen A. Smith. He really has no net. Now, why people like him, I don't know. The whole Cam Newton thing is what we started with this last week.
Who said anybody likes him?
No, there's a lot. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people out there who like him, and the guy makes a ton of money. ESPN loves this guy.
I don't want to say who I think his fan base is geared towards.
Here's the thing. Some people love the guy and some people hate the guy, but everybody tunes in to watch him. And that's the problem to a certain extent.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, but there is. I understand that sometimes we do it. We got to explore both sides of a story, and we talk about it sometimes, and we do that a lot. But that's only me and you, and we try to analyze as much as we can. We don't have somebody handing us notes, or we could look things up real quick online, but we got to get right back to what's going on. But he has all of this stuff that could be prepared for him, and come right out of the gate and do what he's got to do. But he always has to try to stir the pot. And I don't like it. I just do not like it. I think that's what his specialty is. Fucking everybody up and stirring the pot. It has nothing at all to do with his knowledge.
That's what people want to see. That's what people want to listen to. That's what people want to see.
Nobody wants to hear the feel-good story. How come the rest of the guys on ESPN don't do that?
But think about it, Jeff. Name me 3 other guys who are on ESPN that do this all the time. Name me guys who are on other stations. We don't, everybody knows Howard Stern, not for all the nice things he said. People know Howard Stern for all the craziness, all the nasty shit he said.
But you can't compare Howard Stern to Stephen A. Smith.
No, I'm not. I'm certainly not trying to do that. All I'm saying is it's people don't want nobody's calling up and listening and going, I heard Stephen A. Smith. He was talking about how great Lou Gehrig was. Nobody's doing it. People are talking about Stephen A. Smith because he comes up 90% with either the most outrageous thing. Like I heard him talking about the Jordan documentary and how he was offended. I think about Jordan saying that Gary Payton was no big deal and he was laughing. And again, if Jordan felt it, that's his way. But Stephen A. Smith went on for like 10 minutes and said absolutely nothing. And what I realized was he gets paid for being stupid and saying outrageous things. And that's what people want to listen to. Otherwise, me, couldn't name half the guys on ESPN doing the same thing that he's doing. I know he's on with Max Kellerman because Max Kellerman and him are on the same show. Other than that, I have no idea who's on ESPN. I don't watch any of those guys.
No, well, listen, that's not important, okay? But nobody else is going to do what he does because they're reporting the actual sports news. They give you sports stories. This guy turns around. You know what? You brought up Cam Newton, okay? When you think of Cam Newton, why isn't Cam Newton on the team? Cam Newton was released late. Cam Newton had to deal with the coronavirus. Cam Newton had to deal with injuries from last year that nobody was able to bring a doctor in and have him checked because that's not allowed. Okay, all of these different things, you start piling them up, and then you think to yourself, well, who is going to sign Cam Newton? Okay, yes, he was an MVP.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
That was great. So was Terry Bradshaw. Does that mean that you signed Terry Bradshaw?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course not. But with Cam Newton, all of these things that are against him right now at possibly the worst possible time, and the way that the timing of this all went, if I was Cam Newton, I'd be more pissed off that Carolina released me as late as they did, that I would have wanted to be released earlier to see a way it'd be like, if I'm not in your plans, you got to let me go now. That's all there is to it.
Well, do you think that says something about Cam Newton that they would do that? Do you think it was done on purpose? Do you think it was just a matter of the situation based on what we're at right now, new coaching staff, coronavirus, and everything that went into it, or do you think there was some nefarious, dealings on the part of the Carolina Panthers?
I don't think they purposely did it. I think they had a plan and they had to wait and see how their plan unfolded. If things went, suppose they weren't able to get Teddy Bridgewater, and then now what are they going to do? Are they going to just take anybody? Maybe we hold on to Cam Newton, but they also signed Bridgewater right in the beginning of free agency. So there was enough time to be like, okay, we signed him, let this guy go. If you had no reason to use him or no want for him on the team, then just get rid of him, cut ties with him. I do not understand. I really don't.
I agree with you on that. I certainly agree with that. With you on that. But at the end of the day, I think there's a bit of that. I mean, listen, Andy Dalton found a way to get signed after all of that, after the draft, after all of that. Andy Dalton wound up on a team. There are guys who are winding up on teams.
Andy Dalton, it was also healthy. His season didn't end because of an injury. What everybody think of what Stephen A. Smith says about Cam Newton. He's a running quarterback. What happened? He hurt his foot. He had surgery on his foot once or twice, I believe. Okay? Then his throwing shoulder. He had surgery on that. All right, so now here you're talking a quarterback, a guy that was known as a runner, and a decent quarterback. I mean, he wasn't a league leader, but he wasn't a bottom dweller, bottom feeder. And what happens? He gets his shoulder operated on and his fucking foot. Who in their right mind is going to take him? Would you take him?
No, again, I didn't like Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton's not playing because he has not played exceptionally well. He's been injury prone. He's had some injuries the last few years, especially last year. And I don't think he's played exceptionally well. And I tell you the truth, I think a big part of a big thing of that Super Bowl when he acted the way he did at the end, and in that game, the way he played, the way he acted in the aftermath of that game, I think it's hurt Cam Newton with a lot of teams and players in the league. And I think that's a big piece of why he's not out there. Plus, I think people think he's a problem. I honestly, that's why I feel like people think he's a problem. He won't want to come in because we talked about this last week, and I don't want to dig too deep into it, but name me one place where Cam Newton right now, other than New England, and I think that's the only spot that he can go in and pretty much be assured of a starting job. Anywhere else, he'd either be fighting for a job or he'd be a backup.
Nothing even says that he would get a starting job in New England.
No, I agree.
What he has to do is you have to get the tarnish off your image. You sign a 1 year deal as a backup, just like Bridgewater did. And I understand that you were talking about an injury, a different kind of injury, and everything else. But Bridgewater showed to be a solid citizen, was very wanted by other teams in the NFL, and look at where he is now. Now he's a starter down. He replaced Cam. So now this year there seems to be a glut of quarterbacks. Okay. Now, Andy Dalton is somebody's backup in Dallas, and Dak Smith's backup in Dallas. I think Dallas may have one of the better quarterback situations in the league right now because of it. Don't you think?
Potentially, I would have a hard time arguing that. Thank you. That Dallas probably has, with Dak, coming back off of almost 5,000 yards last year, and the year they had. Now again, he had a great start to the season, and they struggled at the end. But yeah, with him as your starter and Andy Dalton, a proven NFL quarterback behind him, yeah, I would say Dallas might have the best quarterback situation in the league.
And Cam Newton coming off of an injury, okay, didn't play since the beginning of last year. I think he played 2 games, 3 games, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
He didn't play very much. What do you think? What do you think everybody else's expectation is of you? Okay, you came off an injury. What you should do? Sign a 1 year deal someplace, and get your feet wet. Get back in the league. Get back and show that you're going to be a solid person. You're going to be reliable teammate. You're willing to help, willing to do whatever it takes. Okay, and then next year, completely different story. He gets in on the say the preseason. Say he does good in the preseason, right? Lights it up a couple times. Really plays good. Then he'll get into a game somewhere along the line in the season. He plays good. He shows him that he could run. Shows him that he could throw. The following year, a 31-year-old quarterback, he'll be 32 by next year, the start of the season. He'll get signed by somebody. It's inevitable.
Oh, sure. Listen, I don't disagree, but here's the point of what I brought it up for was there was a bunch of guys, one on that show with Kellerman and Stephen A, and there was another guy there as well, and it was another show that I turned on into, and it might have been Good Morning Football, I think it's called, on which I never watched, with Peter Schrager and that whole Burleson. It's the NFL Network every morning at 7. I don't like it. It's to me it's hokey. It's bullshit. I hate those guys. Hate that show. But it was the thought process was, well, why? I don't understand how Cam Newton doesn't have a job. How could Cam Newton, a former MVP, he wasn't an MVP last year or 2 years ago, it was 5 years ago. It was the arrogance of course he should have a job. Well, why shouldn't Andy Dalton have a job? Andy Dalton played pretty well. His team sucked, and no worse than Cam's teams.
Yeah, but once again, Andy Dalton was healthy. So, right. I mean, these people are talking about a quarterback coming off injuries. And then, we're talking Andy Dalton. Danny Dalton took his team to 3 wild card games in a row, or 4 wild card games in a row, but he wasn't injured. He didn't come off an operation. He didn't come off a season shortened by injury. And even if Andy Dalton, let's just say he landed hard on his knee, okay, and they say, oh, his knee blew up, but it was week 15, so we're shutting him down for the season. There's no structural damage, but there's no reason to put this guy out here. This team was 2-14 when they ended the season or whatever it was. Why are we going to put him out there for any duration? It just doesn't pay.
Right.
We may be able to get something for him, and we're not going to ruin the guy's career. So, something like that, you got to take into consideration. Cam Newton couldn't finish the year. Right. And the Carolina Panthers already knew that they weren't going to fucking keep that guy.
Yeah.
That was quite obvious.
Yes, yes, and again, should they have let him go early if that was their intention? Yeah, I don't see why not. I can understand that point. Don't get me wrong, but again, it just comes down to simple thing for me. Stephen A. Smith is not Tom Brady. Cam Newton is not Phillip Rivers. He's not a guy who's played well and should be starting on a team this year. This is not some travesty of justice that Cam Newton is not playing in football today. That's really my point. Again, I was just blown away by the arrogance and the self-right of, oh well, he should have a job. He's a former MVP. Like you said, Terry Bradshaw was an MVP 30 something years ago, 40 years ago. Nobody's giving him a job today.
Listen, should he have a job? If you want to look at it this way, a 31-year-old quarterback went to a Super Bowl, was a former MVP, did okay for himself. Wasn't exactly in the lower 50% of the league. Yeah, he wasn't an elite quarterback. Nobody's going to say he was an elite quarterback, but he was doing good. He was a good quarterback. He helped his team. Why isn't he in the NFL right now? Well, injuries. I tell you right now, if Cam Newton didn't get those operations done, okay, Cam Newton would have been on a team right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was on New England. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up on New England for the start of next year. I think that's where he's going to go.
I agree with you. I thought that's where Cam Newton was going to go. I thought that would have been not a perfect place. But again, same thing. I thought Belichick was going to go grab a.
It's a perfect place when you think about it. Think about that.
No, I'm not going to argue that point. I definitely think that New England needs a veteran guy. A guy, Dalton would have been good there. Cam Newton might go up there. For me, if you're Cam Newton, it might be the perfect place for you to be, because you go up there and you get some structure, and you can kind of not have to be the guy. And Belichick's gonna basically hover over you and make sure that you're not abused. To me, I think that was the place to go. But
I think so. I agree with you 100% because one, there is no other place for him to go. That's one thing. Not right now. Okay.
Right.
So why do you want to wait around and see if somebody gets hurt? Because now you got to go in and learn a system at the end of the summer, middle of the summer, wherever it may be, right before the season starts. You're putting a lot of shit on yourself. Okay. Which means that the offense that you're going into, if you don't know any of it, is going to be running on 4 cylinders instead of 8. And it's not good. Okay.
Right.
So you want to get into a team now. New England's the best one. You're going to tell me Brian Hoyer and this kid was a former 3rd rounder?
Yeah. No, I agree. Listen,
nothing to me.
I am surprised that Bill is in this mode with these two guys. We've talked about it before. I don't know enough about Stentham to say he is or he isn't. I really have no idea whether he's the guy or not, honestly. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they should have got this guy. They got, somebody should have got that guy. Or whichever phrase, that these guys can't do the job. I don't know whether they can or they can't. So,
if Hoyer was able to do the job, don't you think he would have been starting someplace else?
Well, listen, you're probably right. You're probably right. Guys, 7:35 Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff, Tom, and hopefully you guys out there. We had tons of problems on the radio side, so we killed the radio show tonight, strictly here on the live stream, which I got to tell you, we're going to be doing more and more and less radio. This seems to be a better technology, so make sure you come back every Thursday night. One way or the other, you will see our mugs right here. And we got a lot going on next Thursday night. We got a couple of guests. Let's see. No, we got one guest. Michael Boyd, solo guitarist, will stop by next Thursday night. Well, maybe because I can't get his. You have another client Atlas Cage was supposed to be on with us tonight, but I got no way to get in touch with him, so he's out.
Who's Atlas Cage?
He's a musician. He owns his own indie record company, and he also is a independent wrestler. So he's that
one sounds like this would have been a
yeah, so
get the fuck out.
He didn't make it to the show tonight, and we have another one of that publicist guests next week. So who knows? Anyway, Jeff and I will be here. We'll be talking stuff. Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about the Jets and Giants schedule. You ready to do a little of that, or you want to go to Mike Tyson? Which one you want, Tyson or the Jets Giants?
You know what? Let's talk Tyson real quick because we don't know what's going on with that. Let's have a little fun with that, and then I'm going to have the New York Jets schedule up first, and then the Giants schedule.
Okay. So what is your thoughts on Mike Tyson getting back into boxing? Now, again, I did not see any announcements that he is officially returning to the ring. I did see some stuff, that he was training. But I did not see anything that showed me he was going to be getting in the ring with somebody.
What I did hear
Mm-hmm.
about Mike Tyson is there's supposed to be this new bare knuckle championship league or something.
Bare knuckle.
That this is what I heard. Okay, I don't know how true it is. Just this is what I heard.
Okay.
And supposedly they were trying to get him, try to lure him in
Okay.
to fight somebody. Then I heard that he was going to fight, that Evander Holyfield was thinking about coming back and was going to fight him.
Really?
That's these are the things I hear. Now,
I did hear something about Holyfield saying, I think for the right money or for something, I did see something to that effect. But again, I saw nothing formal from anybody that either one of those knuckleheads are going to try to get back in the ring.
no, I didn't see anything. But I'll tell you this much right now: if I'm offering any kind of money to somebody to come back in the ring, no offense, it's definitely not going to be Evander Holyfield.
I would agree with that.
Evander Holyfield had trouble putting people away. He never gave up, but he had trouble putting people away 15, 20 years ago because he was too light. He was in the wrong division. He was a cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson, I would see, I could see somebody throwing money at Tyson simply because he's in the state of the heavyweight division now.
Yeah.
He could do it. He could do it. Could you imagine him going in and blocking somebody's head right off?
Oh, here's the thing, Jeff. I don't know. I don't watch boxing. I'll be the first one to tell you, and I don't know if anybody out there is listening. I would have been, I wish I had gotten Darren, our good friend Darren Joseph, on to talk because he's the official the fight card game guru. But I have a hard time believing that unless he's in a Giza division, Mike Tyson's going to go beat this Deontay Wilder or any of these monsters who are 30 years old or younger and be successful. Now, could he get in the ring and catch a guy with a shot? Yeah, I saw his training video. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But to think he's going to go in there and have that kind of, this ain't Rocky Balboa, the movie. He ain't getting in the ring and beating anybody up.
Mike Tyson, right now,
yeah,
could step in my opinion, could step into the ring with just about anybody, but has to get it done before the third round.
I would agree with that.
Okay?
Yes,
I think that Mike Tyson would still be able to handle himself. Now, I don't even know who the fuck is fighting in the heavyweight division at this point in time.
I have no
but
idea.
I still think that Mike Tyson could handle himself for a round or two with some of these guys because if they're not household names like the heavyweight division once was, these guys can't be that good. Can't be that good.
Again, I only know of a couple of guys, from the last couple fights that were out there. I have no idea who's good, who's not good. I just don't want to see Mike Tyson look like this, Jeff, when it's all said and done.
I saw that workout video, dude. I don't think he'd look like that.
But again,
not this time around. That guy's got some speed.
I agree with you, but you put him in there with a guy who's 20-something years younger. I'm almost guessing that the guy's going to be would be the same. I can't imagine. But again, would I be rooting for Tyson? Yes. At this point, Mike Tyson has done one of the best. Mike Tyson and Alex Rodriguez have done two of the best jobs I've ever seen, changing their identity and becoming these lovable characters, especially Tyson. Tyson, at the end of his career and thereafter, most people hated his guts because he was just an arrogant felon, thug. And with the whole movie stuff and I saw his one-man show on Broadway, he's kind of changed the narrative. So a lot of people, including me, would be out there rooting for him right now, Jeff.
I listen, I used to like Tyson when he first came out.
Sure, we all did.
Okay, yeah. And then once he got away from his handlers, Kevin Rooney and Customato died and everything else, it was a different Mike Tyson. Of course, we all know that.
Yep.
When Mike Tyson went to jail for the rape charges, that was such bullshit.
Of course.
That was such bullshit.
I
don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
You're not leaving your house at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning to go watch movies. Oh, you got Star Wars? Oh, I'll be right over. You want me to bring some soda and popcorn too? Come on now.
No, listen. I listen. I don't think anybody here doesn't believe that Mike Tyson was set up not only by that woman. What's her name? Washington.
Was it
Desiree
Desiree
Washington.
Washington?
Yeah, Desiree Washington. But with he was abused by Robin Givens. He was abused by his management people, everybody after Kevin Rooney and all those characters. Don King basically raped them. I mean, come on. I mean, if you listen to his one man show, you can't even believe that Don King got away with what he got away with. But all right, listen. At the end of the day, all of that part behind it, can Mike Tyson at 53 years old, let's say, he gets a fight at the end of this year, near 54 years old. Is this going to be the George Foreman all over again?
First of all, I don't think it's fair to compare him to George Foreman, and I'll tell you why. George Foreman came back at a time when you had Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. You had some big guys, some good guys in the division at the time. The heavyweight division still had a little something to it. Now you're talking about him possibly coming back from what we could see from his workout video and going into a completely different kind of heavyweight division at this point in time. There is no heavyweight division. Name two heavyweights right now.
I can't. No, I honestly could not. I could not name two heavyweights today, Jeff. I will honestly tell you, I can't do it because.
No, of course, neither can I. Don't get me wrong. I can't either.
Yeah.
Definitely can't. Mm-hmm. So to me, I would have to say that you got to say that he has more than a puncher's chance, a fighter's chance.
I don't know. Let's see. Joe Cloak says I would rather watch Jeff and Nick Marino mud wrestle and put. Thanks, Joe. That's a hell of a sight. You seeing that, Jeff, by any chance?
Nah, because I can't comment on anything. So what's the point? But
that's right.
Joe Cloak.
Joe Cloak said he would rather watch you and Nick mud wrestle and pudding.
Well, figures that's the way he would go, but that's not what we're here to talk about right now. Anyway,
no, it's not. But listen, again, I would listen. I was a huge Tyson fan, and I'm showing some highlights of his early parts of his career. You didn't miss a Mike Tyson fight in the 80s and probably early 90s. You just didn't miss them.
I'm watching it now, man. The guy was just so he's unorthodox. So he comes out like any other heavyweight. They used to slowly move into one another. He rushes at you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what he's going to do next. He's quick. He's short. The only way that you're really going to fucking knock him down or knock him out is with an uppercut. And nobody could get close enough to deliver that uppercut. I mean, look at what he's doing here to these guys here.
Yeah.
Just the intimidation factor that he has.
Yeah. No, listen. Again, as great a fighter as I ever watched, and his fights were amazing. It was different toward the end, but I would tell you, I would watch the pay-per-view. I would honestly tell you, I don't watch pay-per-views. I don't do it for wrestling. I don't do it for any boxing. There isn't one I'll spend the money. If Mike Tyson fought anybody credible at 53 years old, I will tell you, I would watch it.
Well, that's the thing. When you say credible, who's credible?
Just a guy who's been I don't want to see. Would I watch Tyson Holyfield? Maybe. Would you watch Tyson Holyfield now?
No, I wouldn't pay for Tyson Holyfield.
I don't know.
If it was on HBO or something, yeah, I'd watch it. Yeah.
But if there was a guy who was a legit heavyweight fighter, let's say his record was 20-12, he's 30 years old. It's a legit fighter. I'm not saying the guy's ready to win the title, but if I would watch it. I don't know if I pay $100, if it's $40, just for the sake of saying I got to watch it, see what it looked like.
Are you watching some of these fucking shots he's throwing, this guy, man?
I've seen this a bunch of times. It's amazing.
He's lowering these people's IQ by fucking double digits with every shot. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Hard Rocket Sports, we're here Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30 every week, bringing you the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. We're going to be joined at 8:15 by Damon Johnson, ex-Black Star Riders, ex-Thin Lizzy, ex-Brother Kane, out there doing his own thing now. Damon's a big sports fan, so we'll talk a little golf. We'll talk a little bit about Auburn. Cam Newton's a big Auburn fan, so I'm sure we'll get some sports out of him as well. And of course, we got a lot of other stuff to get to tonight. We're going to get to a little Jets and Giants. We'll talk a little bit about that. Hey, Jeff, you know what? Let's finish up with Tyson. Best boxer you ever saw?
No.
Best boxer you ever saw?
But you're asking me who I think the best is?
If he was, now he's not. Who was the best boxer you ever watched?
I would say Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
Marvin Hagler.
Yep.
Tyson was good. Tyson was very good, don't get me wrong, and an awesome boxer. But the competition he was against wasn't on his level. Some of the guys, you don't end fights and less than a round because you're fighting a par fighter. You know what I'm saying? The fights that he did fight against Holyfield, where he just couldn't. I would have loved to have seen Tyson and Holyfield fight in their primes.
Yeah, sure.
But he just, fighting some of these other guys, he just got rid of them too fucking quickly, man. Michael Spinks, what was it, 89 seconds or something?
Something like that, yeah.
I think Michael Spinks is still hiding right now.
Michael Spinks, I remember that. I was in Florida when that fight happened. I happened to be in Florida, and the one thing you watch when you watch even to that today, you look at Michael Spinks' face and you go, that is the absolute last place. He would rather be on a gynecological table, than that.
Well, I don't know about that, but no. I probably would have wanted to be on a proctologist table.
He did not. He would rather be getting a gynecological exam than fight Mike Tyson that night. He wanted nothing to do with it. Mike Tyson would sell tickets. Yeah. Listen, I would go watch Mike Tyson train if they said, pay $5 to come in like the old days. I would pay $5, $10 to go watch Tyson train. Guy's a killer.
Yeah. I still think now the stamina. Does he have the stamina? He can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
At our ages, your body just breaks down. He may think in his mind that he does. He may actually have better stamina than half the people his age.
Yeah.
But if a fight was to go past the third round, I think he'd be on borrowed time.
Last question on this one. Why? Is it money, Jeff, or is it unfinished business?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's hard to answer. It's hard to answer. I mean, I know the guy's been doing well. He's been in movies. He's got a podcast. I think he's in some sort of a medical marijuana company. The guy seems to be doing much better. And let's be honest, what could the payday be? Like, unless he's going to fight like the heavyweight champ of the world, which there's no way in the world, unless there was an exhibition, that could even be sanctioned. What could a Mike Tyson, some stumble bum get? Like, what could he possibly get? $5 million, $10 million?
I would think that he'd get $10 million easily. I would think. It's Mike Tyson. Listen, the amount of money that they're paying some of these guys in sports today, think about it. $10 million to Mike Tyson to fight a fight.
Yeah.
And then how about this?
Yeah.
You could give him some bullshit fight, okay? Maybe like an exhibition fight. He fights a couple exhibition fights. And then all of a sudden, maybe they're like, you know what? Tyson's going to go for the title. Fuck it. He's going to go for the title. We think he can do it. We're going to give him whatever.
Listen, people are right. Joe Cloak, it's a circus. So listen, Jeff, it ain't impossible. I mean, George Foreman did it with a probably much better round of heavyweights at the time.
Much better round of heavyweights, and he was 10 years younger.
No, wasn't he 50 when he did it? Wasn't he
close to 50? He was near 50 by the time he stopped fighting.
Okay, so it was 40s he came back?
Yeah, it was, He was like 42, 43, something like that.
But he's definitely not. George Foreman at 42 wasn't in good a shape as Mike Tyson at 53.
No, he wasn't. But the one thing about Foreman, he actually was in better shape than we gave him credit for. You remember when he used to fight, he never sat down.
No, you're right.
He stand there the whole entire time.
You're right. He made that point on the show. I agree with you on that. Guys, make sure you check out hardrocketsports.com for more information on the big upcoming concert to support Jeff. Lots of activity on the event site. Make sure you get on there. I invited everybody I knew. So make sure you get out there. And Saturday, May 23rd, you log in. You're going to get entertained. You'll have Jeff and I hosting. Jeff, will you be wearing any sort of special attire? Will you rent a tuxedo for your big event? How will you be dressed?
No tuxedo, but it'll be up to you guys to figure if I've got anything on the bottom half.
Listen, all right, listen. I'm doing a concert to support you. Don't come out and scare people away.
It's not a matter of scaring people away, man. It's not a matter of that. It's just
my God.
You're not gonna know, man. You're not gonna know.
All right. Well, we're certainly going to know on May 23rd. We got a lot. We got a few musicians. We're going to have some celebrities pop in and wish Jeff well. And again, guys, I have no problem with people speaking their mind. I don't believe in people going into a crowded theater and yelling fire, like I said earlier. But I am tired of the politically correct. I am tired of happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. I am tired of having people tell us what we can and cannot say and how it should be said. And I'm not going to bring politics into it, but thank God for the president we have today for that reason. But I am tired of the politically correct. And if Jeff could be censored for using the word tranny in a simple...
I wasn't censored. I was banned. There's a difference. Censoring would have been like they crossed it out.
Yeah.
Or they blurred it out.
Well, listen, here's the thing. All I can tell you is I think this is, beside having some fun and backing up our friend, it's simply, I feel that it's time for us to have a voice, and I want everybody to log in and type the word tranny. Everybody who logs into the show that night must type in the word tranny.
Well, you have to remember, anybody can say the word tranny. You have to ask the question, is that a tranny?
Okay, so then that'll be the fight song of the night. People will have to type in, "Is that a tranny?" And and that's what we're going to do to support our friend and to let the liberal left people know that we're just tired of the insanity that they bring to us each and every day with this politically correct bullshit.
Unfortunately, I was unable, of course, to tag you in the video so that you could watch the video. But when you have somebody that looks like they should be working in the back room of a restaurant someplace, chopping fucking carrots or some shit from 11 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, like start at 11 in the morning, go home 2 the next day. You know what I'm saying? One of those kind. And they obviously, something's not right. And it's like, it's supposed to be a woman, but it's definitely not a woman.
Yeah.
And you ask the question, is that a tranny? That is reason to be banned? Are you kidding me?
No, it's not, Jeff, and that's why I again, we're having some fun with your situation, and we do want a lot of people. I will tell you, I don't know if you saw it all, but there was, when I put the post up, there was a lot of people who were really taken aback and angry that you were banned for 30 days for that statement. And I saw another post from your cousin. She put up one herself.
Mm-hmm.
And
I saw them, and I appreciate it. But you know what? The thing is, it's not me. Okay, it could happen to anybody. Somebody all of a sudden decides that they want to report you because you got a Lawrence Taylor jersey. Well, look, you got something of a hanging something of somebody, a person of color in the back. You know what I mean? What is that all about? How come I'm offended by that? You don't know what these people are going to say and do. And I've seen a lot of people get banned on Facebook, put in Facebook jail and everything. And it's bullshit. It could happen to anybody that's watching this show, listening to this. Yeah. It could happen. It really could happen. The wrong person sees something and wants to bitch about it. Bang, you're done.
Jeff, we have breaking news here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Breaking sports news. This will bring a smile to it's going to bring a smile to your face. It's killing me. I have to announce it on the air. Hold on, I'm creating a banner in its place. It's the Mac. Hold on, DB. Hold on.
Well, I still don't see anything. It can't be that important.
Okay, I'm making a short banner. It's now going to be up on the thing. Jeff, can you read that?
New York Giants defensive back DeAndre Baker wanted for crimes.
Yes, an arrest warrant has been issued for DeAndre Baker, who is charged with 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of aggravated assault. Jeff, this is perplexing and troubling. I know you would get a kick out of this. We're about to talk the Giants Jet schedule. Lou Pica, who's our resident, Lou's a part of the show now. He's going to be officially a part of the show every week.
Now wait, isn't this the guy that they signed earlier in the offseason?
No, DeAndre Baker was their third number 1 pick. They traded up into the end of the first round last year and drafted him out of Georgia. He had a really rough first part of the season, but they said he kind of matured and he played much better in the second half of the season. Now, of course, we don't know anything about it. He could be completely innocent of all these crimes, but DeAndre Baker, there is an arrest warrant issued as per SNY TV. An arrest warrant has been issued for DeAndre Baker, New York Giants cornerback, who is charged with 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of aggravated assault. You know, Jeff, I don't get it, man. I just don't. I'm hoping this is not true. I'm hoping that we've been punked. Wait, Joe Cloak said Pelosi died? Joe, come on. That can't be possibly true. Hold on a second. I got to flip channels now. Hold on a second. Flipped over to the Fox Sports. Anyway, I'm hoping Joe Cloak is joking with us right now. But Lou Pica, Jeff.
Yeah, this is the White House. No plans for President Pelosi if Trump, Pence are incapacitated by coronavirus. That's something you got to worry about.
Oh no, believe me, I thought about that. That is scary. Yeah.
And you know, real quick, I know that you don't like to get into this shit, but Mike Pence is a dickhead. Okay, he's with these people. They all got masks on. He's like, well, I got tested. I don't need to wear a mask. You fucking idiot. You're supposed to be setting an example for everybody else. Whether you want to wear the mask or not, it's not important.
Yeah.
But you're trying to set an example for everybody else. Mm-hmm. But it is scary. What happens if Trump gets it? Those 2 guys should not be in the same place ever again unless it's absolutely positively necessary. And one of them at all times should be someplace where they don't even breathe outside air.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100% because, yes, the third in line would be Pelosi, and that is frightening.
Yeah,
if those 2 guys died. That is the most frightening. That is one of the only thing worse than that is if they actually put in Adam Schiff. If a guy like Schiff could get in there or Nadler. But, the thought of Pelosi running this country, dude, pack the bags, take me to Cuba at that point. I will live in Cuba.
At least at this point in time, if it was, God forbid, to happen, by November, it'd be over.
Yeah, it would be over.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter.
No, I got it. But just, Jeff, 3-4 months, she could do a ton of damage.
She can control the Congress. Damage in a couple days. You don't need 3 or 4 months. But
well, you know what, Jeff? So we got the news that DeAndre Baker. Thank you, Louie, for popping that up for us. You've made Jeff's night.
I got to tell you, this just makes it fucking better. This team. This bunch of fucking losers, okay? Yeah. You got a fucking general manager that goes running back, quarterback, offensive lineman. Makes no sense, okay? Then you take a fucking special teams coach off in New England, this guy Judge, okay?
That's what John Harbaugh was. John Harbaugh was a special teams coach over in Baltimore.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you.
Okay.
The Giants, Gettleman. Oh my goodness, Gettleman. I fucking love complaining about this fucking guy. Okay. Signs Judge. Come on, dude. You need to fucking, when is this going to be labeled a bust? 3 years. How many games have they won in 3 years?
Not many.
Okay. It's not working, bro. It's not working.
Yeah, but it's very broken. It's gonna it's I think this is going to be a much better team this year.
I am so glad. I take the glasses off for this one. I am so glad that, ladies and gentlemen, you could go on fucking Spotify and look it up all the times that Tommy said, well, you know, the NFL, a team is only good for a couple of years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Teams turn around real quick.
Correct.
Except the Giant, well, the Jets, I'm not even going to bring them up there.
It's been 50 years.
Someplace.
Yeah, it's 50 years since they turned it around.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But the Giants, is a team that's been the ass end of the NFL for the last 4 or 5 years and have not gotten any better. Not gotten any better. I at this point in time
Uh-huh.
have to place the blame on Gettleman. I have to place the blame on Gettleman.
It's the start of his third year. You're really going to turn around and tell me that that's it? He's completely done. The start of his third year,
Dude. If I was
uh-huh.
I'm a Jet fan. Okay,
I got you.
Mike McCagnon went 3 years and then he was gone.
Uh-huh.
This guy Joe Douglas
Uh-huh.
next year at this time. Okay, if the Jets don't come close to making the playoffs or make the playoffs or win 10 games or whatever it is, like whatever, there's going to be calling for his head. It's how it is. It's why do you insist upon holding on to these fucking retreads? You wanted to hold on to Eli until there was nothing left of him and then make him go start someplace else just because it was Eli. Okay? Gettleman, doesn't matter. Come on, man. Get rid of this guy. Call for his head.
I don't call for his head. I like the direction of the team. I think this is going to be
the direction of the team. What, Tom? It's like a boat with one oar. They just fucking going in a circle. That's all they're doing.
Listen, this is the year. They got the running back. We got the quarterback. Now we put together the offensive line. We're fixing the defense. Now tonight's a little bit of a blow, but
a little bit of a blow.
Little bit of a blow. But you know what? We got some players, so I'm not worried about it. And here's the problem. The one thing that scares me about this season, and we're going to get to the schedules. We got our guest coming on in about 15 minutes. So I want to get to schedules a little bit. But the one thing that scares me is, and a lot of teams are in this boat. You know, a lot of teams have new coaches, new quarterbacks. You know, I wonder what the season's going to look like. Like if you get off to an ugly start because you didn't have all this stuff and you didn't get your, by the time teams like the Giants and the Carolina Panthers and even the Cowboys to a certain extent now, you know, these teams are getting new playbooks. You know, you may take it 3 or 4 games, you know, based on not having the offseason you normally do. So this year is going to be an odd season in the NFL. I think. I don't think you're going to. I think there's going to be some teams kind of sneaking through who are the more well established. You know, teams like the Rams, teams like the Saints.
It's possible, without a doubt. It's possible, but I mean, come on, certain teams. It doesn't matter if they had a full complement of OTAs and training camps and everything else. They're just not going to do anything. Teams like the Bengals, you know, they need too much. They're just starting out again. A team like the Giants, I personally don't think that they did enough. A team like the Jets, did they do enough? Did they sign retreads on an offensive line? I don't know. Okay. I think a team like Cleveland could come back. I want to see a team like Baltimore, what they can do. I want to see what the Colts can do with Rivers.
Well, I think the Colts are an interesting team, Jeff. I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, the Colts were on the way up with luck. Last minute, he bails. I thought that Brissett didn't play terrible last year. I don't see that the Phillip Rivers 1-year experiment is going to make a big deal there. You know, that team's it's kind of like the Giants 2 years ago. They're in a flux where they should kind of rebuilding a little bit.
I think you're going to see them start to rebuild after this. But right now, I think it's not that it's a 1-year thing. It is a 1-year thing.
It's a 1-year thing.
They're going for it. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, and they should go for it because they may be bad anyway. So I would have made the move the same way. I think they did what they had to do, but I think that's not going to work again. Had they had a full off season, maybe it's better. You know, maybe maybe Dallas is going to be a better team this year had they had a full season. But again, they at least have the nucleus of their team still intact. Their quarterback's intact. They just brought a new playbook in. You know, I'm curious to see how these teams with new quarterbacks and new coaches adapt to the different offseason. I think it makes for some interest, and I think some teams that might not have been top teams this year, teams like the Steelers, you will have their team intact, same coach, same quarterback, same offensive system. The Rams, there's a lot of teams like that.
I don't see the Steelers being much to contend with this year.
I agree with you normally, Jeff, but here's the thing about it. You a lot of teams around them, like, are the Bills going to be any good this year? No. Okay. Should the Ravens be as good as they were last year? Yes, the Ravens will be.
Bills are going to be a good team this year, only because of the division they play in.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Bengals, not the Bills. I apologize. Bengals, right. So, you know, I'm saying, here's the Browns. Are the Browns good? Here's the X factor in that division. Are the Browns better than the Steelers this year?
Uh, it's a hard one to say.
Right.
For the sake right now, I would say yes.
See,
I would take that roster.
with a real off season, I would agree with you. But having no off season, I think gives the Steelers the edge. They have the same quarterback, same team. You know, they've added some pieces. So again, in theory, again, it's a theory.
But you got to remember, Roethlisberger was out after what the second game last year. Didn't play.
No, I
Yes,
agree.
he's nearing 40 years old, coming back from an operation. Mayfield, who needs to get his shit together, and is going to start with the same players he had last year. Okay, he's going to have Beckham back at full strength. He's going to have Myles Garrett back. The team is going to have Myles Garrett back. So that I think that the future is a little bit brighter for the Browns than it is the Steelers right now. That's just my opinion.
No, I would agree with you. Again, my only thought is with new coaches, new players, you know, are teams like that who should be better kind of hamstrung by what's going on right now is my only point. So teams like the Saints, who I think the Saints take a step back. I still think they win the division, but I don't think they win 13 games this year.
Do you think that all of these teams that have new coaches and stuff, I know that they're not supposed to, they can't get in touch with players or anything?
Well, they can right now. They can. There was up until sometime in April, so now they're able to do online classes, and they're kind of going over stuff that way.
Okay, but up until the point where they weren't allowed to do it, do you think that they all adhere to that?
Well, that's a good question, Jeff. I don't know. I'd say the answer is yes, because you know nobody's gotten busted, and the way things go nowadays, you know, you get a disgruntled player, and the next thing you know, they're ratting you out. So I'd have to think the answer is yes.
How is anybody going to know? Like you have a new quarterback in Cleveland, you got a rookie quarterback, not a rookie coach in New York. What's to say? Like hey, what are you doing, man? You know what's going on? Well, let's have a little conversation here, and it's going to help both player and coach. You know, would they say anything? Maybe the guy that's holding on for dear life onto his roster spot and may end up getting cut after they hired or they drafted 4 offensive guards and he's a guard and gave up 14 sacks last year. Maybe he's on the bubble to get out, but some of these other guys, you can't tell me that they're not going to be like, okay, what do you got for me? Check your email. I send you a card. You know what I mean?
Again, they all have their playbooks, and like I said, right now they're all able to talk via conferencing. I don't believe they're allowed to meet personally. That I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that everything has to be done. They're not allowed to, and nobody's allowed to go to the.
You're not allowed to go to the facility or anything.
Correct. So I don't know if Joe Judge is driving over to Daniel Jones's house and hanging out with him, or if Jason with him. I don't know that. I can't.
I don't think that Jason, that Judge and Jones hanging out together is going to do much at this point in time. But if they turned around and said, "Listen, you can't have any kind of contact with any players until after this date or once we open up for business again," I know that if I was in that position, I would be like, you know what? What are they going to do? Take a chance? What are you going to find me? I'm going to take a chance here and talk to my guys and who I need to talk to.
I know they are talking now. There's a lot of them that are meeting. You know, they're all doing meetings, virtual meetings. So that all is allowed during the period. There'll come a time, I think, where OTAs end that they can't. What, does anybody sneak it in after that? I can't answer that. I'm sure somebody does and will. That I'm sure it probably happens. I don't think it happens a lot though. But I think this is a weird off season, and I think this is going to affect some of those teams on the bubble.
I think it happens more than you think.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? You may be right. I just look at it like with the way things go nowadays. All you need is one disgruntled player to go out and say, "Hey, we were meeting, we were practicing in the back lots, and and you get a lot of trouble. You can lose draft picks. You can lose a lot of money. You can get your GM or your coach suspended. So I don't think it's going on, but it would not surprise me if it was.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I just think that this off season, and guys, we're going to get to the NFL schedules right after our guest. I also want to talk about, Jeff. Let's transition a little bit right here. we're going to get this scheduled right after Damon Johnson. It's 10 years, I think, tomorrow since Ronnie James Dio passed away.
Wow.
And what's amazing to me, I mean, not that the fact that 10 years went by so fast. I remember I was in my garage at home listening to Eddie Trunk, I believe, when I found out that Ronnie passed. It's eerie because I mean I loved Ronnie. I mean I will not tell you that I was the hugest Dio fan. I don't remember going out of my way to listen, but I like Dio. I love the Holy Diver. But I'll tell you that I think Ronnie was, to me, the best voice in metal. I know a lot of people say Halford and Dickinson, but I think what Ronnie's not acknowledged for enough of is his time in Black Sabbath.
No, he definitely wasn't. I was just looking to see. I remember where I was when I found out I was actually getting ready to play at a benefit, and I had found out that Ronnie James Dio had died. So I was actually getting ready to play the day that I found out that he died. But yeah, you're right. He wasn't acknowledged. He was somewhat acknowledged for it. That and Rainbow.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I think that there should be more focus put on that. But a lot of his solo stuff is what they really seem to really focus on.
Yes.
And considering that he was playing with Sabbath when he died at the time, and not much is said of it. No, and that is some great stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our guest is on the line, Jeff. I'm going to bring in Damon Johnson onto the show with us, and then we'll get back to a little bit more on Ronnie James Dio. So, guys, we're going to pop in, and we're going to bring in Damon Johnson onto what the hell Edge stream. Okay, there he is, Damon. Welcome to Hard Rocket Sports. Tom and Jeff, how you doing?
Hey guys, good to see you, Tom and Jeff. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good,
man. Welcome to COVID-19 communication style 2020, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is some new technology. The good thing for me, it keeps me from having to be in the same room with Jeff. So it worked out really well for me.
Sorry about that, Jeff.
Don't worry about that. We haven't been in the same room. Don't listen to him. We haven't been in the same room doing a show since the last NFL draft.
Oh, wow. That's been a minute.
Tommy does have, he doesn't like to talk about it much, but I don't care. He has flatulence problems.
Well.
Very lactose intolerant. If there's milk in the house,
yeah,
he's farting like a buffalo.
Well, it's definitely better than that he has his own room.
Yeah, he's better off over
there. Hey, can I throw my 2 cents in on that Ronnie James Black Sabbath thing you were just touching on? Yeah. That Heaven and Hell record is my favorite Black Sabbath record, period.
Okay.
Just me.
Yeah, no, Jeff is the resident Black Sabbath fan, and I like Sabbath. I got to see them on the last tour, but I will not say I'm over. But I agree. I think there's not enough brought out when you talk about Sabbath, when you talk about Ronnie and his time in that band. Jeff, agree with me? I disagree, but Ronnie's time there was some of the best material that I got to hear.
Definitely, without a doubt, and they don't focus on it enough. And it's a shame. And I mean, with as many people, if you ever looked up on Wikipedia and saw how many people actually came in and out of Sabbath, it's unbelievable. So to know that it comes down to Ozzy and Ronnie James Dio was really the only singers that I would even recognize as contributing that much to Sabbath. It's got to be held at a higher level, the Ronnie James Dio stuff. It really does. Completely different band than what they were doing with Ozzy. Different music, different vibe, everything different. Just really great stuff, man. Good stuff.
Agreed. Stuff. Yeah.
So Damien, so we were talking about that. It's been 10 years since Ronnie's passing, and I remember being in my garage here in Jersey when I heard it, and of course, you're devastated, and you find out later on that Ronnie could have may have been able to be saved had he went and got the detection a little early. He kind of went months and months with pains in his stomach. So, to me, Ronnie James Dio is the voice of metal. Growing up, Ronnie's voice just stood out. And I'm a huge Bruce Dickinson fan. I love Rob Halford. To me, when I think of metal and metal singers, Damon, it's Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I've been really fortunate to spend a little bit of time with all three of the guys you just named. Black Star Riders and Thin Lizzy did some dates opening for Judas Priest, so we got to hear Rob every night, which was incredible. When I was still with Alice Cooper, we did some dates supporting Iron Maiden, Bruce, Legend. But I saw Dio several times as a teenager, Last in Line and Holy Diver, those records. And, I think most of the people, certainly the guys that I roll with, musicians and singers and, guitar players, songwriters, whatever, I think everybody holds Ronnie in that highest regard. I cannot overstate, man, what a thrill it was to meet Ronnie. This would have been 2006. I was playing guitar for Alice, and we did a festival in Belgium, and Ronnie was on the date. And one of the guys in Alice's band was really tight with Ronnie, so we went down to the dressing room, and I was super nervous. I don't think I've been starstruck that much, but I was kind of nervous to meet Ronnie. And guys, he opened the door. I'll never forget it, man. He had a glass of wine in his hand and just this gracious, welcoming, just like you were walking into his house. This is just some, trailer dressing room at this outdoor festival. And man, he worked the room quickly, made sure everybody had a drink, made sure they were comfortable. And of all people standing in the room, Ronnie James Dio turns and looks at me. We're both holding a glass of wine. He goes, Damon, tell me about that Les Paul you were playing tonight, man. That is a beautiful guitar. I'm like speechless. I was like, I couldn't even believe that he had noticed or that he was even watching us,
Yeah,
So-
the funny thing is when I started doing the show and when Jeff came aboard, the one regret that I had, we've gotten to talk to so many great artists like yourself, but never gonna be able to have the chance to talk with Ronnie. It's sad because he was not only a great, obviously great singer and part of so many great bands, but he was a huge football fan, a huge New York Giant football fan.
Yeah.
I would have loved the opportunity to have him come on and go against my partner, who's the most anti-Giant fan you've ever met in your entire life.
Yeah, just anti-Dave Gettleman, man. I guy's fucking doing nothing right.
Oh boy! But David, you're not here to help me defend the New York Giants. So let's get to what's going on with you. Listen, you brought up COVID-19 and what we're going through and how we're all living. How has it affected you? I mean, I know you're a guy you like to be out on the road. You're doing your thing, but I've seen you doing a lot of live stream stuff. You did something last night.
Yeah.
Tell us, how are you adapting to what's going on right now?
Well, I'll start with the positives. I'm so loving being at home with my family. Being with my wife, Linda, is a world-class cook. So I've probably gained 10 pounds, guys, easy in the last couple months. But, I'm here with our two youngest kids. My son Gabriel's 15. My daughter Jo is 11. And, we're making the best of it. We're grateful to be healthy and, we're doing all we can, man, to do our part. But, there's no question this situation has kind of decimated the music business. Ironically, the last public performance that my band and I played was 2 months ago last night, March the 13th. We played a show in my hometown of Birmingham, Alabama. It was awesome. We had no idea that, it wouldn't have occurred to us that would be the last show we would do for 60 days. And the outlook right now, man, I mean, we have no idea when we're going to be able to get back out and start playing. So it's an incredible time, man. I mean, there's no getting around that. Nothing like this has ever happened in our lifetime. And, we're staying positive and optimistic, but there's no question, man. It's a crunch on the music business, big time.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So now I know it's a lot of people, and here's Jeff and I. We've taken to doing this now live stream, and I see a lot of artists out there doing it. And let me ask the question. I mean, I would assume as a guy who's played in front of thousands and hundreds on occasions, feeding off the crowd has got to be so important. How does that affect and again, you're doing a concert, whether in your basement and there's nobody in front of you. Is it harder? It's got to be a little more difficult to get that feeling and vibe going when nobody's there and you're not getting that immediate feedback from a live performance.
Yeah, there's no question, man, that it's a spiritual event. That exchange between the performer and the crowd, and you try to make it a shared, unique experience. Every show is different, every venue is different, every crowd is different, and it's really, I guess, it sounds maybe cliche, but it's really what we all live for, both the fans and the entertainers. So I did a live stream last night from my house on YouTube, and that was like my 4th or 5th live stream. The other ones I had done on Facebook. But I said to the people listening last night, I mean, I still cannot get accustomed to singing and playing into a computer screen or into my iPhone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because you feed off people's expressions, their body language. They may shout out a request, or you see some old friends or some old fans that you've seen come to many performances. So there's no question we're all missing that.
But let me ask you this question. So now, all we're hearing along the way is that it's going to be a long time before there are 10,000 people in an arena and, large crowds. Could you see a time maybe in the short term, once things are opened up, and let's say you and your band can be in the same room with a little bit of distance, where you'll do a concert, full band live stream? Would that be something that you could see for the short term to kind of fill the gap?
Well, yes, for sure. We're, as a matter of fact, we're hoping to announce in the next 48 hours a live stream that I am going to do with my band, with my power trio. And, there's some technical components to that. We want to make sure the sound is great. So we got to go in a proper studio and get a sound check, make everything cool. But yeah, man, we definitely want to do that. There's no question that I feel comfortable and safe doing it with my guys, because I know they've been following, shelter in place protocol and wearing masks and, only going out for essential things. Everybody's been committed to being healthy and doing the smart thing. None of us can afford to get sick,
No, absolutely not. But the one question that I'd ask is, you sell 10,000 seats, how to put the money, how to sell the show to a promoter or to a venue. How do you sell to be able to make money doing that? How do you sell that? Be able to say, I can guarantee you what, 1,000 people listening. I mean, how do you sell that way?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, and I've been learning a lot about that. And the thing is it really just gets down to the popularity of the act, how big their fan base is, how big their audience is, and then how much effort and time they spend marketing it. We're looking at 2 or 3 platforms, and they all do it the same way. Basically, you sell tickets in advance. The way we're going to do this, it's a Lodo ticket, $5, and it'll get you a link that you'll be able to log in and see the show. And I want to look out for our fans that are across the pond in Europe, for them to watch it. So I feel like the platform we're going to choose is one that makes it to where you can watch it anytime. You don't have to log in while it's happening live. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that'll guarantee some more people. But look, if I could have 200 people show up and pay a $5 ticket, then everybody on my end can make a little scratch. We can make it a special event. My manager's involved. My booking agent is involved. And I think you're going to see more and more infrastructure with those live stream events, guys, because again, I don't see big arena and stadium shows happening, man, until 2021 at the earliest.
I agree. I agree. And again, we're talking with Damon Johnson here at Hard Rocket Sports. I can't say 347. We killed the radio version of the show. We're just on the live stream. Make sure you come back every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30, when we do this all over again. Also, don't forget the big concert, May 23rd, our concert to support our friend Jeff, banned from Facebook for using the word tranny. We will have a live stream concert right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show to support Jeff and against we are anti-politically correctness here on Hard Rock and Sports. So make sure we got a few musicians going to lend their talents. Mark Scott from Trickster is going to call in and offer Jeff some words of encouragement. And don't forget, make sure you check out Mark's new single, Give It To Me Good, on iTunes or on his website. Make sure you support Mark. He's a good friend of the show. Damon, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing now. Otherwise, first off, let me ask you this. You know, you've been in some amazing bands, Brother Kane, Thin Lizzy, Black Star Riders, just to name a few. How difficult was it when you made the decision to make the move and go out on your own and do your own thing? I mean, basically become your own, you know, your own little engine. Now everything is in your lap. How difficult was it to walk away from those kind of bands or what Black Star at the time, and then how hard was it to get that engine up and running on your own?
Well, yeah, man, my resume is a little complicated because I've been in, I've had my own bands and been in bands with some legendary acts, especially Alice Cooper and Thin Lizzy. Oh, yeah. Technically, I still play guitar with Thin Lizzy. Lizzy doesn't perform that many shows, but we did do 4 festivals last summer. And there had been some talk of doing a run this upcoming fall, but of course now that's all been put on hold. But to your question, Tom, leaving Black Star Riders in 2018, it was difficult from the standpoint of just my friendship with the guys in the band. I love the guys. I love the music we created. I'm proud of those 3 albums that we made together. But I was very energized and motivated to strike out on my own. The music business has changed so much in the last 10 years, certainly in the last 20 years. And as a songwriter and a singer myself, I just felt like if I was ever going to give a shot at committing my calendar to my own music, to being a solo artist, I needed to get on the stick, man. You know, I'll turn 56 this summer, and I'm grateful for my resume and all the experiences I've had. But I'm just telling you both, man, I love being the boss. I love writing my own songs again for myself to sing. Brother Kane was an incredible experience back in the 90s. We had some real success at radio. We had 3 #1 songs at mainstream rock. And we supported Van Halen and Aerosmith and Robert Plant. I mean, it was like a dream come true. But when that band kind of ran out of gas, I was just kind of burned out on the whole process. So that's why I embraced an opportunity like playing guitar for Alice Cooper. I mean, it'd be hard to turn that job down anytime, because it's so much fun. And it was easy, So, but the thing about Black Star Riders, it really kind of got my wheels spinning to start writing again for myself. I had some things I wanted to say. And so, my the record I put out last year, Memoirs of an Uprising, I still love that record. And, it was a great launching pad. And I'm committed to doing this full time. I mean, look, if Paul McCartney calls and he needs a guitar player, we'll take that phone call, Well,
yeah, I'm going to imagine there's a few people out there that would pique your interest if they made the phone call.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that, but man, I'm not joining any more startup bands anymore.
I don't blame you. But what's the now having to be chief cook, bottle washer, what's the most difficult aspect doing it on your own? Is it the making of the albums? Is it putting the band together? Is it booking? What's the one thing that you have to do on a regular basis that you go, man, I didn't realize this was going to be this difficult?
Well, the toughest part is what I knew was going to be tough, guys. And that is simply educating people about my music. and educating people that I exist. You know, I'm grateful, man, to have even the small fan base that I have. You know, they follow me on all my socials and on my website, and you know, but it's not a giant bunch of people. It's not like I can go to the 930 Club in DC and sell 1,000 tickets.
Right.
So, you know, you just got to keep everything reasonable. You gotta have a real kind of sense of what the reality is. Again, man, the thing that's thrilling for me is I'm growing it. You know, I've been able to grow it since putting out the record last year. I already got 3 new tracks finished that my friend Nick Raskulinix produced. Nick is a Grammy-winning rock producer, man. He did Rush and the Foo Fighters and Alice in Chains. He's my friend. He lives right here in Nashville. So I'm just so motivated by being able to be home more and work on my own music that it makes the tough stuff, Tommy, easier to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
You're your own boss. You make your own schedule. You do your own thing, and does well, doesn't do well. It's in your lap, and you're not relying on other people to make it happen.
It's in my lap, man, and I'm thrilled about that. And you know, just the fact that I get to continue to do it is motivation enough for me. And I'm grateful to have the support of my family. You know, there's never been those discussions of, hey, we need to look for another gig. Not at all, man.
Oh, that's great. You know, you brought up something a minute or two ago about writing music for yourself to sing. Is there any change, or as a guy who writes music, does your writing style or what you write vary depending on who's singing the songs? Or when you write, are you thinking of the guy who's going to write it, or do you write a song and then just kind of hope it falls into place? How does the process work?
That's a great question, Tom. And the answer is you need to write for the singer. You need to make sure the song is in the right key for him to sing it, for him to express himself, and whether he's writing the lyrics or we're writing them together. I gotta say, man, I know that those Black Star Riders albums benefited from the fact that both Ricky and I were lead singers, you know, at one time or another. Ricky's an incredible frontman and great singer.
Oh, absolutely.
But he, you know, whenever we would write, it's not like I would just start, you know, blowing a bunch of guitar riffs and go, hey, man, sing something over that. We would focus on the vocal melody, the arrangements, what key it was in, that kind of stuff. You know, man, I feel lucky that the guitar playing kind of comes easy for me, and I can wait until the very end to focus on that. So we put most of our energy into, you know, the vibe of the song, that vocal melody. So you nailed it, man. You got to write it for the singer. I wrote with Sammy Hagar 20 years ago. You know, I started playing some riffs, and then he starts just, you know, singing freestyle over it. And, you know, pretty quickly it's like, hey, man, this guy's a race car. We need to raise the key of this. Let's take it to another key so you can reach for some higher notes. And, you know, he dug that, man. He appreciated that I was thinking about the vocal and not just the guitar parts.
Yeah, and so I mean, what's it like after that? Let's say, like, I know some of your stuff's wound up with I want to say Stevie Nicks, Santana. Am I great? So, what's it like when you write something? Do you write it specifically for them, or is it something you have in your bag of tricks and you go, hey, how about this? You want, how does that work? How do you get that to them?
Well, in the situation with the Stevie Nicks song, man, it was like we just tripped and fell into a lucky bowl of soup. I had written that song with a friend of mine with the idea of putting a proper solo album together in the early 2000s. And he had a relationship with Stevie's manager and was just playing him a batch of songs. And that manager heard the song that we had written together. He said, hey, can I play that for Stevie? And, you know, my friend John said, of course. So, you know, John calls me 2 weeks later, says, hey, man, Stevie Nicks wants to record our song. Is that cool with you? I said, let me think about it. Hell yes. You know, so that was a real thrill, man. One of the real I feel like it's an honor, because Stevie's a proper songwriter in her own right. So it was a real thrill for her to record a song that I had written before. Similar situation with Carlos Santana. I wrote it with a friend of mine for his record, and the song made its way to Carlos, and Carlos heard it and loved it and wanted to put it on his record. Obviously, man, those are legendary artists with giant followings and big record companies, and you want your song to get as many ears on it as possible. So it's better off for my family, for Stevie Nicks to sing that song than it is for me to hang on to it and sing it myself.
Listen. There's no disappointment when you're singing it, but yeah, for commercially. Oh, you know what? Speaking of commercially, when you're writing a song, have you ever altered it? Like you wrote a song and you say, if I did this, it would be more commercial, or do you try to stay more true to the intent of what you're trying to get on paper, or do you ever kind of go, I want to get this a little more commercial? And I'm sure nowadays it's hard to even get that, but you know what I mean? Do you ever have to, or do you ever think about altering a song to make it more commercial?
Great question again, Tommy. When we first started Brother Kane, we were really focused on our own vibe. And I feel like over the course of, those 8 years we were together, I think we made the mistake of starting to think about trying to be commercial.
Instead of just being who you are.
Instead of just being who we were, man. Because look, you're getting pressure from the record company, from your management, you're getting it from all sides. It's like, hey, man, if you had a song like Limp Bizkit has, then you could have a hit like they do too. It's like, well, I don't give a shit about Limp Bizkit. I don't like that stuff,
Yeah.
But it's still, man, it kind of creeps into your head a little bit and you're thinking about it. So I think that's another reason, man, that I transitioned out of Brother Kane and became a sideman really for about 12 years, because it's like, man, if I got to try and write something that sounds like somebody else, I'm just not interested. Now, I live in the songwriting capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee. And I enjoy taking a songwriting session where somebody's like, hey, Keith Urban is looking for some new songs for his next record. So I'll sit down with some friends of mine that are writers, and we may try and write something to pitch to Keith, but it's not necessarily something that I would, want to put on my record, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's different if you're writing something for somebody else to try to do that, but writing for yourself, I would think you want to stay true to what the song, the intent of the song is for you, and not try to alter it to make it fit for some other reason. That was my point. If you're writing for Keith Urban, he's got a style, he's got a way of presenting his music. I think then it's a different category.
They do, man. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're just looking for a great song. Mm-hmm. They're gonna put their stamp on it. They're gonna put their sound on it. It's kind of like, man, I've been listening to a lot of classic rock in the last, in recent months, man, like going way back, Crosby, Stills and Nash and Neil Young and early Jackson Browne and stuff like that. And, man, Joni Mitchell's one of the great songwriters of all time. And she wrote her classic song Woodstock. But, man, it wasn't until Crosby, Stills and Nash recorded it that it became like this anthem, for a generation. So, the goal is always to just try and write a quality song. Just write good songs, man. And they'll find their way, whether you record it yourself or maybe someone else records it.
Okay, yeah, we got. Of course, we're talking with Damon Johnson, who's been nice enough to give Jeff and I some time here on a Thursday night. And guys, remember, we're back here each Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30, right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Network. Check out hardrockandsports.com for a list of all the upcoming shows and guests. We are booked right up into June and July with guests, and we're really happy for it. Make sure you go to the new Hard Rock and Sports Show YouTube page. You can find the videos from the Tommy John interview, Carmine Appice. Soon up, I'll have this one, but I'll also have Vinny Appice up and the Geezer Butler one. So make sure you check out the YouTube page. And of course, here every Thursday night, and now on the live stream, make sure you check out Jeff and myself here, 6:30 to 9:30 next week. Michael Boyd, guitarist, stops by. Jeff,
Just Damon, I got to ask him. I mean, Tommy, we talk about the guests every week before they come on, and he told me that you're a heavy, big sports fan, particularly Auburn.
Yeah, man.
Which I got to ask, what's going on with your boy Cam? Is he ever going to play in the NFL again, or are you a Cam Newton fan?
Oh,
What
guys,
are your thoughts of that?
definitely a Cam fan. Cam was responsible for me attending the only national championship game I've ever physically gone to, and I was at that game when Auburn beat Oregon in what was that, 2011 for the 2010 season. So I don't know, man. Cam's definitely special. All of us felt like when he went to the NFL, his style of play was going to put him at risk physically, and obviously, that's kind of what came to pass. I mean, it's one thing for him to run up and down all over college players like Alabama and Georgia and Florida and whoever, but man, the NFL is just loaded with five-star players on both sides of the ball, and it was just tough for him. And what we really don't know is how healthy he is, Jeff. And I stumbled across something the other day saying that he might go to Seattle, and I don't know. I'm not deep enough into keeping up with the draft and who's looking for what, to know.
Yeah,
the Seahawks don't look like they're going to need a quarterback for quite some time.
That's the thing, Damon. Jeff and I were going over it, and I think part of the problem with Cam is a bit of ego. Here's a guy. Okay, 5 years ago was an MVP of the league. He was one of the bright stars headed up. Missed a lot of time like last year, like Jeff said. The problem for Cam is where's there the spot where he'd either be able to compete or have a chance to go in and win a job. And, New England's a spot we see.
I didn't hear Seattle. I didn't ever heard anything about Seattle.
Yeah, that's a new one for me as a backup to the Wilson. But didn't they just sign somebody not too long ago for some reason? I think they signed a quarter. But, again, as a backup, here's the question is, does Cam Newton take a job as a backup in this league? And that's a big question.
It's a big question. It would take, obviously, the right chemistry between the coaching staff and his style of playing. I don't know, man. It's like, it's kind of like watching all this, the awesome series on ESPN right now about Jordan and the Bulls. Man, the greatest players in all the sports, by the time they were in the league for 5 years, they were making an impact and making an impact consistently.
Yeah, sure.
And unfortunately, Cam has not been able to do that. He hasn't done that. So, there's no question, man, as a fan of Cam, as an Auburn fan, we're all pulling for him. But, a situation like Tiger Woods, it's that's like impossible for that guy to like completely go away, fall apart physically, mentally, and then make the comeback that he's made. You can't do that in the NFL. You can't be out of it for that long and then all of a sudden come back and, play at the best level of your career. Maybe Cam could do it. It would take some extraordinary effort on his part and just the chemistry of the right team around him.
Let me ask you something, Damon. You seem to know a lot of guys. Maybe you'll bump into this next fella I'm going to ask you about because he is a fucking idiot in plain simple English. But let's talk real quick. Me and Tommy talked about it earlier. Stephen A. Smith saying that Cam Newton should sit out for the year instead of taking a backup role somewhere in the NFL. Now, if you're a Cam fan and you seem to know a lot about the guy and his career and everything else, if Cam Newton calls you up and says, Damon, I need what should I do here? What should I do? Should I sit out the year? Should I sign on to be a backup someplace? What would you say? I myself would tell him to latch on with whoever he could latch on with. But, Stephen A. Smith is saying that he should be a starter only and shouldn't be a backup. Your thoughts?
I don't know, man. That's such a tough question, Jeff. I mean, my gut is telling me that I agree with you 100%. A guy with that experience.
Keep yourself relevant. Keep yourself in the mix.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's all kinds of stories of guys that settle on a team and start playing. I mean, it's like, look, I'm in Nashville, man. We're Titans fans as well. We really thought Marcus Mariota was going to be the guy, and all the effort was focused on him. Obviously, it didn't work out ultimately, and now we got Tannehill, and we got him at a time that he was playing at a peak level, and he blew our minds last year. Cam could do something similar to that. Come to a team that's got good front office, that's got some players. It didn't have to be the Patriots, it didn't have to be the Cowboys, but somewhere that he could go and make the players around him play at a higher level than they were with their previous quarterback.
No, I hear you. I just feel as though personally, and me and Tommy have talked about it in some depth, that it would be better for him to just take, I'm not going to say any position he can, but to stay relevant, get onto a roster that's going to need a backup quarterback, because all of the starting positions are filled. And in the NFL, you never know. A guy gets hurt, especially quarterback, tweaks an ankle, tweaks a knee, hurts a shoulder, whatever the case is, bang, the backup goes in. And you would have an experienced backup with Cam Newton and somebody that knows the sport and has played at a high level before. I just wanted to see, what a fan such as yourself would think of that.
Well, I appreciate you asking me that, man. And that's, the other thought I just had, Jeff, it's like, how much money does Cam have to have?
Yeah.
How much money of their salary cap are they going to spend for a guy of that level to just come and be a backup? He's not going to get, I would think you don't get top dollar for that.
No.
Well, he's not getting top dollar for that, but there are some backup quarterbacks. I mean, compared to us three that are making monster money compared to what we make, but by NFL standards, they're making nothing. Like they'll be like, yeah, he makes $7 million and he's the backup quarterback. Well, I'll take $7 million and be the backup quarterback too. I'll take $3 million and be the backup quarterback.
Hello, Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Christ, I'll even lose weight. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, this is great, guys. I love talking about this stuff. Well, we'll see what's going to happen. What's going to happen in Tampa Bay now? What like, is Brady going to deliver, or is it all just?
Can I take this one first, Tom?
No, you go first, because we're both on our polar opposite sides of this one. So go ahead, Jeff. You go first.
I hope that Brady slips in the fucking shower or something, and his spine comes out the back of his neck, and he's paralyzed from the fucking eyebrows down. I am a Jet fan. I can't see enough bad happening to him.
I got you, brother.
I hate him.
On the other hand, I think there will be a little. Listen, Winston threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. I think Tom Brady goes and he makes them a couple of games better. They'll make the playoffs, but they'll fall short after that. They don't have enough of an offensive line. I think there's still some questions on their defense. But I think, having Tom Brady there makes them 2 games better, and I think there's a good chance they'll make the playoffs. They'll sneak in, but it's going to be an interesting time. Yeah, I know you can shake your head all you want. Dave, can you hang a few more minutes, or you want to? Do we have to let you go?
No, listen, man, I'm enjoying this. I'd love to do another segment.
Yeah,
you may want to fucking leave now, because it's going to start getting rough around here.
We will. Hey, no more Tom Brady questions. I promise.
No, listen. Yeah, it's. I think the interesting question is a 2-parter. What's the more likely to happen? Tom Brady has the success, or does Belichick and the Patriots have the success? Do either or neither have? I think, a lot of their legacy is going to be dependent on what happens the next year or so with this thing. If Tom Brady goes off and doesn't do anything, and Belichick manages to win a Super Bowl without him, it's gonna beg the question to be answered forever. Is it Belichick? Is it Brady? Or is it together?
Well, I believe that Belichick is far more motivated to roll up his sleeves and prove himself to win yet again without Brady than he would have been maybe to try and win another Super Bowl with Brady still at quarterback. I don't know. I know, Jeff, you hate New England, dude, so I get it. But I just think there's a better chance of New England going back to the Super Bowl than the Buccaneers.
Agree with that. I think that Tampa Bay, if you take the two teams, put them side by side, you're going to see a little bit of a drop in New England and a little bit of a rise in Tampa Bay. Not much, but Tampa Bay, between Brady and Gronkowski, are definitely going to elevate the Buccaneers more so than what's going to happen in New England. I think New England is going to drop a little bit.
Well, what about Belichick's ability to, as Brady always said, man, he just coaches up all the new players that come in. It's like it didn't matter who Brady was throwing the ball to. He just knew he would always have receivers that were ready to catch it. You know, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo.
He doesn't have anybody to throw the ball now. That's the thing. Which one of these? Brian Hoyer has been a backup, and I believe, Tom, you could correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
I believe Brian Hoyer was on the Patriots once before, wasn't he?
Yes, he was on, and then he moved around the league, and then they brought him back. I want to say at the end of last year to have that veteran backup for Brady. That they think they I guess they figured they needed. So, but and then now Hoyer factors into this year again. I agree with Damon on this. I think Belichick, should get the benefit of the doubt that he'll put together a team that will manage to play well.
You just said so earlier. You said yourself that that something's going to happen at quarterback. They can't go in there with Brian Hoyer. First of all, if he was already on New England and they let him go and he made his way throughout the league, didn't catch on any plays, and he comes back as a backup, that alone says right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you brought Brian Hoyer back in because this kid Stedman, whatever the fuck his name is,
yeah,
you know that he wasn't the answer.
By the way, I think
that's another Auburn boy. Thank you very much.
By the way, you know what? What was your thoughts on last year? I want to bring up Auburn real quick. Again, the season's made. You beat Alabama, but you lose in the Outback Bowl to Minnesota, a game you should have won. Little double-edged sword, or is the season made just you won the Iron Bowl?
Man, I've lived my whole life, guys, an Auburn fan. There's no question that if you can win the Iron Bowl, it's a successful season no matter what. So, it's like we can forgive Malzahn for allowing that letdown against Minnesota. You're right. They should have won that game.
Should have won that game. There's no way in the world that they should have not won. They were a much better. Minnesota was a good team early in that season. But Auburn was playing good football at the end of that year. They beat Alabama. There's no way in the world they should have lost that Outback Bowl game. There's no way.
Well, what about that gamesmanship at the end of the Iron Bowl when Auburn's got that fourth down and they're in the middle of the field and, Saban brings on the punt team and then Malzahn runs Auburn's offense back out on the field like they're going to go for it, and then Alabama gets the delay of game penalty. We get the first down, game over. That was genius.
Yeah, listen, I think Gus is a good coach. I don't think he's put together quite the season that he should. But again, Nick's standard, he hasn't had that guy at the quarterback spot to really help him stand out. Third this year in the division in the SEC West. But again, you beat Alabama, you probably keep your job.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I can't fathom any Auburn coach getting fired after beating Alabama ever. But our fingers are crossed with Bo Nix. Hopefully he can continue to develop.
Yeah, that's nice. Again, Damon Johnson's joining Jeff and I here for a little extended period. I want to ask you a little golf before we get back to the music. So this week, I know they have a match this weekend. I think there's 4 guys playing this weekend. And then the following weekend, Memorial Day weekend, you have the odd match, which I've never seen before. Not the biggest golf fan, where Tiger and Peyton and Brady, Jeff's friend, Tom Brady, and Mickelson are playing around together. I know you're a big golf guy. What's your thoughts on seeing some live golf this weekend? And give me a little handicap on that. Do you know enough about that matchup 2 weeks from now?
I'm thrilled to see some live golf this weekend. I don't know how they're going to do that celebrity match. Have you heard, are they obviously they got to be giving Peyton and Brady strokes. You know, are they playing Phil and Tiger, or are they?
They're pairing up. So I guess it's one of the golfers with one of the quarterbacks. So I guess nobody's getting strokes on this one. I would imagine it's just straight up play. You know, so I know Peyton's a good golfer. I would imagine, you know, I know Jeff's going to not want his, but Tom Brady's good at everything. So
I'm sure he is. I hope something fucking bounces off the golf cart and hits him in the base of the skull.
I love it. Jeff, I love it, dude. I have played in bands. I have friends that are lifelong Jets fans, and they say the same things you say, bro, about the Patriots. So I'm very familiar with your attitude about all that.
Banned from Facebook.
I have enough hate to last generations, damn it.
Hey, I gotta tell you both this one thing about golf that I'm excited about in this quarantine, right? The part of my golf game I have struggled with for 20 years is my short game, the chipping. I'm a really good putter. I've always been a good putter, especially when I changed my grip about 10 years ago. But guys, you know, stuck at home, I've just been practicing my chipping in the living room, you know, with those little wiffle balls. Mm-hmm. I got it down now. I have tamed the beast. Like if I'm talking smack about my chipping, then you have to know that I have put in the time and I'm starting to figure it out, because man, if you had Alice Cooper on here right now and said, hey,
I was just going to ask you that, because I know Alice Cooper's a big golf guy, right? Is he?
Guys, we played literally hundreds of rounds of golf together, and you know, my game came together pretty well. I got down to about a 13 handicap, but I couldn't go any lower because I just couldn't chip, man. I had a phobia. It's like who was the baseball player, you know, that had the George Brett. Mm-hmm. George Brett used to he had to see a therapist because his golf game was so terrible. And that was me. I thought I was going to have to see a shrink or something, man. But so I'm thrilled. That's my bonus activity.
You didn't smile this much when you told me you wrote 3 songs already.
No, dude.
Smile on your face about chipping golf balls than you did about writing songs.
Guys, the wedges have been the bane of my golf life. I love golf so much. I love it. I'm talking the worst chipper you've ever seen.
I've played golf once or twice, and it was at a pitch and putt, actually in Reese Park in Brooklyn, and it was for an Emerald Society corrections officers event.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was cool. There was a cart that ran around and gave you beer and everything, and we showed up drunk, like we were teeing off at like 7:30 in the morning, and me and Joey Gansas, Tom, with a few of his brother-in-laws and one of his friends, and we were destroyed before we were even looking at what clubs we were going to use.
That's awesome.
I mean, there we are, like, you know, you got to take a leak at the 7th hole, be like, oh, okay, there we go. Right there at the tee box. That's how bad we were. But how could you want to play a game that takes hours? What does it take, like 4 or 5 hours to play one round of golf?
Jeff, that's a great question, and let me tell you the incredible experience I had with Alice, and I'll make this short.
Well, I'm sure playing golf with Alice Cooper is a lot better than playing golf with me and my friend Joey and his brother-in-law. So,
guys,
got that.
Playing golf with Alice is not like playing golf anywhere else on the world, because Alice has had a Callaway sponsorship relationship for 30 years, right? So Callaway would set up the golf with one of their accounts, you know, at one of the clubs that they service, and we would play with the club pro, or, you know, the guy from the pro shop, and maybe one of the members. We would be the first off the tee box. So we could literally play, Jeff, I'm not exaggerating, we'd play 18 holes in 2 hours, 2.5 tops.
Wow.
We'd be back in the shuttle, back to the hotel, so we could, you know, shower up and do a gig that night. That's how dedicated he was to playing golf. So that was great when we were on the road, but it sucked for me when I would come home and then go down to my local municipal golf course and I'm just like any other schmuck out there. I got to get in line with everybody else, and it would take 6 hours, and my wife would be furious.
You know what's funny? First off, by the way, if you ever talk to Alice Cooper, we've been trying forever to try to get him on the show because I know he's such a big golfer, and of course he's Alice Cooper. So if you ever talk to him again, please let him know we're desperate to have him on as well.
Let me see if I can help out with that. All right.
I would certainly appreciate that. Second of all, the one thing with the Jordan document. Now, I live on a golf course. I don't play golf. It's one of those things for me where if I can't play it and dedicate myself to it like I did when I played softball or football or any other sport, and golf is very frustrating. I've gone to the range. I live on a golf course and I do not play. So eventually I will get out there and give it. I can walk 100 feet and be right on the green and go out there and play. Yeah,
that's my dream, Tommy. That's my dream.
Well, so I get it, but when you say that about playing the 18 in 2 hours, the one thing, the Jordan documentary, which you brought up real quick about before, he was playing 36 holes before a basketball game. He would literally go out in the morning as early as he could and play 36 holes.
No, are you serious? And he'd still go play basketball?
Go home, shower, change, and go play basketball at night.
Fuck that.
Has to be one of the most amazing things I've ever heard.
Well, I don't know about 36 holes on a game day, but I do know if you're Michael Jordan, they'll probably shut the whole golf course down for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure he's not waiting for the foursome in front of him.
No.
Yeah. Or you know what? The marshal at the number 1 tee is telling all the other groups, hey, if Jordan's group comes up behind you, let them play through. No questions asked.
I don't think there's any questions in that. Guys, we're talking with Damon Johnson here, Hard Rock and Sports. Damon, we don't want to keep you too much longer, but so tell me what you're writing now. You got your what is it called? Wish Pool Wednesday shows. So tell me how soon do we get a new album? What can we how do you come back off of memories of an uprising? Tell us what's going to come up next musically.
Tommy, the COVID-19 has really shut everybody's plans down. It's changed a lot. My goal had literally been to have a brand new song out on all the streaming sites today. Tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 15th. That was the original schedule. I was going to release 3 brand new songs every 3 weeks, and I wanted to have the full-length album out and ready to go by, middle of July.
Sure.
And everything's just had to come to a halt. We can't get in the studio. Everybody's been quarantined. So I'm having to kind of wait and see about that. I do have these 3 badass new songs finished, recorded, mixed. I'm about to get those mastered. And one way or another, guys, I'm going to get those out. I want my fans to hear them. And I need to get that new music out there, man. So my main challenge right now is figuring out how to get in the studio and finish the rest of the record.
Well, again, I know everybody's putting out singles now. EPs are crazy, so I'm sure you'll figure it out. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully, once you start putting those stuff out, we'd love to have you back. Play some of it on the air whenever you're ready. We'd love to do it. And the next time you're up in Jersey and you're playing a show, let's go out and play golf. I'll take you out to my course and we'll play out here.
Tommy, we'll do the golf, and you and Jeff both, man. Listen, next time I'm up there, if we can work it out, I'd love to bring my guitar, come on the show, play a couple songs, hang out.
Oh, we'd love it. We absolutely would love
and
to.
We'll see, and by then we'll know where Cam Newton has landed, and we will know how the Patriots and the Buccaneers did in 2020.
Listen, hopefully,
wear my Tom Brady jersey. Is that allowed?
Hopefully, for everybody's sake, we whether that comes true or not is another story. But hopefully, we're in a better position in a matter of weeks or months, and not a year from now, so that we could all do what we want to do.
Absolutely,
and start living our lives again the way that we should, not the way this is now.
Amen, Jeff. Amen, brother.
Hey, Damon, give everybody out the websites and the social media and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much, Tommy. My website is damonjohnson.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at official Damon Johnson. And then my Twitter, which I'm on a lot, is Damon J Official.
Awesome. Now, when you're on the radio portion of the show, I never got you to do an ID for us. Now, I was hoping you'd be the first official video ID. Could you give us a hi? This is Damon Johnson. You listen to Hard Rock and Sports with Jeff and Tom.
You got it.
Whenever
My
you're
pleasure.
ready.
You ready?
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Damon Johnson. You're listening to Hard Rock and Sports with Jeff and Tom. Come on.
There you go, David. Listen,
Right.
I appreciate you staying with us. You did almost an hour with us. I appreciate it, and you're welcome. Obviously, you're welcome anytime. You're a great guest, and I love having you. And again, if you mentioned Alice Cooper that we're out there, we would not hold it against you.
No, I mean it, guys. I'm going to work on that. And listen, I love being on the show. I had a blast last time. This was even better. Jeff, it's good to talk to you.
Thank you, man. I had a lot of fun, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's do it again. I'll have some new music to lay on you next time for sure.
Absolutely. And again, if you're bored on a Thursday night, you want to just come and hang and talk sports and music with us, you're welcome anytime. We're here every Thursday.
I'll send you an email. Let's set it up. I love it.
You got it. To everybody, Damon Johnson. Damon, good to you. Good luck to you and your family. Keep in touch, brother.
Thank you, fellas. Same to you and your families. Stay
Thank you
healthy.
very much.
Stay
Everybody,
safe,
Damon
bro.
Johnson.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
brother.
Be good.
Good dude, Jeff.
Yeah. Did he hang up or did you just like X him the fuck out?
I X'd him right out.
Wow, he ain't never coming back again.
At some point, somebody's got to hang up, Jeff. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, I know, but you could wait till like he's done saying goodbye. Yeah.
Listen, I got the power, Jeff. I got the power.
Oh God, he had a few, and now he's got the power. How many have you had?
Just one. Just
one.
Yeah, I was off today. I'm off tomorrow. So my wife decided we were gonna.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had made.
And you're still on the air?
Huh?
Yeah. You have a wife at home drinking tequila. You're talking to me and some other guy instead of fucking like, you know what? I'm gonna do a radio show inside.
I'm married for 10 years, Jeff.
So what? So what?
There ain't no joy in Loveville, Jeff. There ain't no joy in Loveville.
Listen, if my wife came up the stairs right now and said, "Hang up with Tommy and take me right over there,"
yeah,
I would leave the feed on and I'd point the computer towards the bed.
Listen, at that point, I'm killing you. I'm killing your spot. But David, listen, see, that's the perfect guest. That's the perfect guest.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Okay. But as we talked to him, the guy was really down to earth. He was pretty cool.
Amazing.
And he's a little bit of a talker.
Oh, yeah. Listen, they all are. Listen, let's be honest, Jeff. They spend their lives having people ask them questions. And
yeah, but
to a certain extent,
certain ones are worse than,
oh,
you know what I mean?
We both know that. So yeah, I'm not even going to argue that point. But no, I like it because he's kind of like Ross the Boss. You got the music, you get some sports, but he's a little bit more knowledgeable, and he's a good dude. And I like talking to him. I asked Nicky to reach out to him because he's a really good guest.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. He was pretty good.
And listen,
it was fun.
Guys played with some amazing. I mean, Black Star Riders is all the guys from Thin Lizzy, and they just said let's no more Thin Lizzy when Phil died. Let's go do Black Star Riders, Ricky Warwick, and all those guys. So,
yeah, but you know what? You do have to realize one thing about Thin Lizzy. One, I know they still play here and there.
Yes.
And two, I think that was I'm not for sure, but I think that was another band that had something like 75 different fucking people come
absolutely.
through there.
Oh, no doubt about
So,
it. Listen, there's a
even if these guys went as Black Star Riders, I don't know if we know who the fuck they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I watch a lot of stuff during the week. Like I went through his Wikipedia. I go through his music, Brother Kane. Some of it's good, some of it's not. I like his solo stuff. Memories of Uprising is a pretty good album. So, and again, when you can spend some time talking to the guy and then you get to kind of go through a little sports. Listen, if he actually hooks us up with Alice Cooper, how good is that?
Hey, listen, if he says that he's fucking going to come meet us someplace with his guitar, that's
he told me the last time. He said, if next time I'm up in Jersey, you hit me up. He said, if I'm not running out of town, he says, I'll come to your studio and play right in front of you if you want.
Wow. No, that's cool.
Yeah, nice guy. So, guys, Hard Rock and Sports, we got a little more time. I know Jeff's yawning, but I think we could do a few more minutes.
No, I'm good. You know what it is today? I didn't tell you what happened today, did I? We bought a patio set. Okay, so it was delivered today. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it came in on a pallet, and I was like, oh boy. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, this ain't good.
Mhm.
When you saw the table in the store and the box that came in is like this wide.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So now I got to put the table together. So as I'm putting the table together, I'm like trying to figure things out. Now I got to take it apart. Now I got to put it back together again. Then I got to loosen it up and like, you know, I needed a stud stretcher, all this shit. Bottom line is I got it together. Then I look at the box that the chairs come in, and the chairs are, you know, pretty big. I'm like, okay, like they must be stacked on top of one another.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Oh,
Oh no. About 5 or 6 screws each side, two
Oh.
sides per chair.
Oh,
If you didn't put them together right,
Mhm.
they wouldn't go together right. So like if I over tightened everything, I would have to untighten everything. Be like, no, that's not right. Got to tighten this, loosen that, do this, shimmy this. It took me about 3 hours to put together the table
Mhm.
and 6 chairs.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was outside. It started off decently warm.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And then the temperature fucking dropped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was fucking chilly. And you know, then all of a sudden it looks like it was gonna rain. And I'm like, I gotta get this shit done. Then I think I have a wasp nest in the backyard, like in the box for the hose.
Come on.
Yeah, so I'm watching wasps fly in and out of there from time. It looked like an airport.
Oh my God.
Small
What
airport.
happened with the brick wall? Did you finish the brick wall?
I added pieces to the brick wall, but I did not finish the brick wall
So you have the
because
brick wall
the
half
brick.
finished. The
What's
tables
that?
so the brick walls half finished. The tables are half finished. You got
Well, the
anything
table
finished?
and chairs are done.
Okay, so we
And
managed to get through
the
that.
plan tomorrow is to go to Home Depot
Mhm.
and get the bricks. Hopefully, get enough bricks to finish off the side. All I have to do now, I got the one side, and then it turns to the front, and now I have to do this side.
Mhm.
So once I get the first row in the ground and go up as far as I want, then
Mhm.
it's just a matter of stacking bricks and filling it with dirt,
Mhm.
giving it a day or two or so to settle, and then start putting some shrubs and stuff in there. I'm going to do one at a time,
Mhm.
you know, one side at a time, and that should be done by next week at this time. But you know, I got a brand new truck.
Oh,
I
do you?
go and I put 10, 15 blocks in there, and then I look at the truck and it's all nasty and dirty, and I'm like, it's brand new. I don't want to fuck it up already,
Yeah.
you know. But
I'm surprised that home. I know a lot. Everybody nowadays, even restaurants that you normally wouldn't, like places like Olive Garden and Beefsteak Charlie Brown's, they all deliver. I'm surprised that Home Depot and Lowe's aren't delivering more.
they probably they delivered the patio set today.
They delivered at Home Depot.
Yeah,
Yeah, really? I
yeah,
didn't know. Okay, I didn't know they
yeah.
delivered.
I wish they had stayed and put the fucking thing together.
Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom talking about the Home Depot at this point in time. But I'm glad you guys stuck
So
with
you
us.
know what? Let's go off a little bit. Okay? We don't have much time left. We're not going to get into some of this other stuff. Home Depot or Lowe's? Which way do you go?
You know, that's a great question. I will tell you, I think for me, it's based on strictly on territory. Where am I and what's closest? But if I had to tell you, I'd probably lean more to Lowe's than I do Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know why. I think it's because there's one closer to my house.
Okay.
I find that for the most part, they have the same exact stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe just different brands, but I would say I probably lean more to Lowe's than I do Home Depot.
They do, and you know, once you go into one Home Depot, you could run around with your eyes closed in any Home Depot, and it's get whatever you want, be in and out. Lowe's, I had a long time ago had a problem with Lowe's, and I bought a storm door with like this roses around it in the glass, and it was pretty cool. And I was going to put it on my first house, and they were supposed to come measure, and then they never measured, or whatever happened. And they would call me up and say, "Okay, we got your door." I'm like, "But how do you have my door if you didn't measure?" You know, and all this other shit. And one day I went down to Lowe's on fire in the middle of a rainstorm that like Noah would have said, "No, I'm not going out in this shit tonight." And I was just like, "Give me my fucking money! Give me my money back! I want my money back!" And they're like, "Well, you can't have your money back," because I was like, "No. I'm here and I want my money back." And we ended up having a big brawl in there, and I ended up getting my money. And I was like, "This store, fuck you and your fucking store. I'm never coming back in here again." So it took me years to go back to Lowe's. But I go now at this point in time, if I want to get in and out quick, Lowe's because everybody's going to Home Depot.
I guess, like I said, if where I live, I'm kind of centered of what a lot of things. So I can go to 130, which is one of the bigger kind of routes around here. And about 15 minutes from me, I can go to Home Depot. I could jump on the turnpike, go up one exit, which is about 10 miles, about a 10-minute trip. And I could be at home. I could be at a Lowe's. So, if I pick my wife up from work, I can go about 5 minutes one way, and I can go to, so it just depends where I am and what I need. I will tell you that my wife prefers Home Depot, so we probably do most of our shopping there.
Yeah, listen. I'll tell you something good. You'll like this. Either one is dangerous for me. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, same.
They got a whole bunch of toys and tools that I never need or use.
Yeah,
but they're there.
Oh, absolutely.
Then I go in my bureau drawer, and lo and behold, I find $350 that I stashed away.
Come on.
Yeah, because when all of the virus was starting, I was like, we're not going to be able to get to the bank, so I stashed some money in there.
I did the same thing, but I found that money. But go ahead.
Yeah, I found it too. So tomorrow I'm going to fucking Home Depot.
Yeah, it's funny.
Plan tomorrow is to take the wife to the bus stop, go across the street to the store, get breakfast for me and the dog, and then run straight over to fucking Home Depot, invest in orange and white, and come back home.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, listen, I got some more stuff to do. We were supposed to do a couple things, and my wife wasn't feeling well. She seems to be feeling better now. But we're not going to do them. But I already had taken the days off when they asked me to come back. I said, "Nah, listen, I'll do it, but I need to take that Thursday and Friday off." So, I took them, and I'll stick with it. And I got a couple of little things to finish up a little bit, touch up paint, and I got to finish the bottom of one door. So,
yeah, I have a spot where we had a love seat delivered 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, where they damaged part of the wall that I've been meaning to fix. So that'll probably be a 2021 job because I just haven't. I walk past it 1,000 times a day. Just haven't gotten anything done about it yet.
I had these little saddles, the little wood saddles. They went from my kitchen to my hallway living room.
Yeah,
wood things, and the kitchen is ceramic tile, and the hallway's wood. So they have these saddles, and no matter what I've done, a year ago, I couldn't get it to stay, and I just took them out, I cleaned them up, and I stuck them behind a thing. And for a year, on two sides of my kitchen, there was this 1 inch drop, just it was just there. And my wife goes, "If you do nothing but anything while you're home, put these freaking saddles in." So it was like the second day I was healthy, I got them in, and one just popped up the other day. I tried Gorilla Glue. Tomorrow's cement. I don't know what the other one's fine, but this first one, it popped up, and it's kind of like I'm waiting for somebody to go walking down the hallway and trip on it. And
why is it popping up?
I don't know.
Too big or something?
I don't know why it won't stay. I have no idea.
Throw some wood in the holes where the screw is going.
It's not screwed in. It was completely just glued in.
It's glued in. Tack it down with a screw then.
I'm gonna have. The problem is if I do that, then I'm gonna have to countersink the screw. Otherwise, the screw would be sticking up. There's no hole in the top of it. So
what?
Right. So again, I'm trying not to have a screw right at the top of it. I tried to glue it. The one side held great. The other side didn't. I'm gonna try a little. If anybody's out there listening to us, and you got a good way to glue down a saddle to cement to ceramic tile and wood, and the little 1 inch gap is concrete, please hit me up and hit us up and let us know. And
I have a way.
You do, and which is
you throw it out, and you just tell her that there was never one there, because this sounds to me, in my past at least, this is one of those things that's going to turn into be like a 4-month job that's never going to be done right.
No, please, I got you. It's not. I got it.
Every time that you try to do it right, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and that's what happens.
I got a little bit to do here and there, and I'm trying to get it done tomorrow. I don't have much else to do. I got to do a little work on the concert for May 23rd. I got to reach out to some of the musicians. We're going to do it. If you want to be part of it, we're going to do a little run through sometime this weekend. Have everybody log on and play a little bit just to kind of see how it all works.
Listen, you let me know what you need from me, man. I think it's a very nice thing that you guys are doing. I appreciate it, and I thank you for it. But This is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. This is
You're going to be the poster boy. Did you see your picture on the event? Oh, you didn't even see your picture on the event page.
No. What did you do?
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Oh boy.
You've seen it. No, you've seen it. But I'm gonna have you have this picture superimposed over a Superman thing. What I do with it? Over a photo of Superman. But where? Oh, I know where I did it. Hold on, I'll show it to you. It's pretty
Is
funny.
it the ones that Joey was sending earlier, just as the show was starting?
No. No.
Like, what is it? You've only been broadcasting on a Thursday night at that time for almost 6-7 years.
Well, Joey was supposed to be on with us. So Joey actually called into the radio show at 7:15. He was supposed to call at 7:30, and we were going to talk baseball. But with the whole craziness of the thing, I just got frustrated and said, "Screw it! I am not going to keep it open." And I told him, if you heard me tell Joe, I said, "Joe, I apologize. I want him to call in on the video. Obviously, I'm a little afraid of what he could possibly do while he's on video with us, but exactly. So,
did you see the thing that he posted today?
I'd have to say no. Last time I saw Joey, we were going back and forth about Johnny Bench.
Yes, that was it. The Cincinnati Reds all-time teams versus the New York Yankees all-time teams.
Yes, I've seen that before. Him and I talked about that in the past. Yeah.
Could we touch this real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
All right, real quick. I'm going to give you the Reds lineup, then I'm going to give you the Yankee lineup.
Okay.
All right. So from leadoff to pitcher, we have, and it's okay. Pete Rose third, Joe Morgan second, Joey Votto first, Frank Robinson right, Johnny Bench catcher, George Foster left, Ted Kluzinski, DH, center field Eric Davis, shortstop Barry Larkin, and pitcher Tom Seaver. I don't know about you. That team does not scare me one bit at all whatsoever.
Well, I would agree with you, and I'm going to actually do a little. How's that, Jeff? How's that for technology, baby?
Beautiful.
See,
beautiful. Okay.
So listen, when you go down the line, I will say this. So, Pete Rose, immortal. Joe Morgan, immortal. Frank Robinson, as an immortal. Johnny Bench, immortal. After that, when you talk about Joey Votto, when you talk about Foster, Kluzinski, Eric Davis, Larkin. Okay, you can't compare that to DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Lazzari. Now, again, having Alex Rodriguez and Reggie Jackson on this list, Jeff, kind of doesn't do it for me.
Oh, come on, stop, please. I'll tell you right now, if I could, okay, I take Derek Jeter out.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just cut Derek Jeter. Okay, I replace him with Phil Rizzuto. For old time's sake.
Okay.
All right. Then you got Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, fucking Lou Gehrig hitting cleanup, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson. Just the silhouette of Reggie Jackson taking that swing is enough for me to put him in that lineup.
Okay.
Rodriguez. Who else you going to put as a Yankee third baseman? Craig Nettles?
I mean, you can go Cleve Boyer, you can go Nettles. I mean, again, I don't disagree with it. I just think that he, I mean, let's see, A-Rod played with the Yankees. He played 10 years, so you know what? I'm a little off on that one. I think you take him out for the steroid thing, but other than that,
this whole Yogi Berra and Tony Lazzari, the only one on this right now on the list, the way it is right now with Jeter, the only one that's not hitting a home run constantly is Jeter and Whitey Ford. Everybody else in this lineup is capable of destroying the ball. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
No, I listen, I agree. The biggest thing I think Joe was a little insulted because he was talking about Johnny Bench, and I think Johnny Bench is probably the best catcher I ever saw. I mean, Munson was close, but he didn't play long enough. But when you put Johnny Bench out there again, 2 World Series and 2 MVPs, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you flat out, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is Yogi's got 3 MVPs and 10 World Series. I mean, it's hard to argue that.
If you're having that talk with anybody else other than you, it's a conversation. Because it's happening with you.
Joe's either watching or listening because he's giving me the thumbs up. I love you, Joe.
Cool.
What's going on with this? Joe?
Joey Gansas?
Yeah, Joey's
Well,
listening.
now he's about to have a fucking plut fit. Okay? Because I'm having this conversation with you and all the times that you stuck up for Brady because he's the greatest of all time, the GOAT, because of all of the trophies he has. Joe, Johnny Bench would have to come back in the league again and play for years to come close to what fucking Yogi Berra has done. It's impossible. Stop it. Stop it. Johnny Bench, maybe the third best catcher of all time.
Oh, wow, that's tough. No,
And you want to know, I'm going to take one even further. Look, Joe, you're not even seeing this, but the glasses are coming off. I'm getting real close. Maybe he's the second or fourth best Cincinnati Red of all time. How's that?
I even bring you even closer. How's
that? Fourth. Because I know that if he's listening now, he's fucking bugging out.
Listen, I would tell you that I think Johnny Bench is the best all-around catcher I ever watched. Now, again, Piazza was a great hitter. Pudge Rodriguez was a great defensive catcher. But Johnny Bench could do it all, and he played on some great teams. And I never saw Yogi play, so I don't know how great a defensive catcher Yogi was.
3 MVPs. You're saying 3 MVPs and 10 World Series trophies?
Yeah. 12 All-Star appearances.
No,
it's hard to it's hard to argue. Like there are certain guys that it's hard to argue for. When you're a catcher and you win 3 MVPs on teams that have DiMaggio, Mantle, and that whole crew, that's some amazing stuff, Jeff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's a great conversation, and I was hoping Joe would be on the show with us tonight.
You ever notice they never, ever, ever talk about Yankee pitching? Could you name who the fuck was a pitcher on the 1927 Yankees? You know that it was Ruth and Gehrig and the rest of the fellas and Murderers Row, but you probably couldn't name 2 pitchers off of that team.
Want to say, and again,
I want to say that proves it right there.
I would say Jack Chesborough and Red Ruffin would be 2 guys from that 2017.
Okay, I'll go with Red Ruffin. The other guy, I never really heard of him before, but you never hear of any of these Yankee pitchers other than Whitey Ford.
Well, even if you go to the list, if you go to the 50s, now the 50s had some great with Allie Reynolds and hold on, the
Yankees might not have had a pitcher until Whitey Ford.
No, so they actually had a really good staff on those 50s teams. But again, when you have teams with Berra and Mantle and DiMaggio and that whole crowd, those pitchers, I mean, Whitey Ford was there for that whole period. So, of course he gets it. And, listen, Whitey Ford won 240 something games. Whitey Ford benefited from playing on a team that was stacked with what's his name, Lopez, the reliever. So I mean, that's not knocking Whitey Ford, but he stood out in that crowd of really good pitchers in the 50s. But listen, I'm not going to knock Johnny Bench. I think Johnny Bench is the best I ever got to see live. But I will
can't take nothing away from him. But the only thing you could say is it was different eras of baseball and different ways the game was played. They don't play baseball like they did 10 years ago. So would Johnny Bench's game have been like kind of played out? But if he was playing at this point in time, would he be the same player if he played now? Would Yogi Berra be the same player if he played now?
No. I mean, Yogi Berra. I mean, the guys playing catcher today, they're beating out triples. Yogi wasn't. Oh my God! I got Cowboy fans on Facebook putting up the DeAndre Baker. Miramar police issue arrest warrants for Giants DeAndre Baker and Seahawks Quentin Dunbar. Oh boy!
Nice.
Oh my God!
Nice. I would have to say, first of all, I don't know what happened, but I'm willing to let the Seattle Seahawks player slide.
You're letting him slide?
I'm letting him slide.
Good?
Yeah, he's good. He's all right.
Yeah.
The Giants.
Great.
Now, this was a first-round pick this year?
No, last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Davey boy.
Yes, it was last year's 3rd pick in the first round. DeAndre Baker, the corner out of Georgia.
And what did he do last year on the team? Anything?
Well, again, he had a really rough start to the beginning of the year. He did not play well the first 7 or 8 games, and then they said that he was a little immature. But in the second half of the season, I thought he played really well. He was starting to, especially those last few games, he really, really, really came around and played some good football. I was really looking forward to him playing. You know, Jeff, you can get arrested for a lot of things in this league, but if you're going to get arrested for aggravated assault and burglary, you're not playing football for an awful long time.
No, I don't think so. Not unless they what was the name of that movie with Adam Sandler where he was the quarterback and Burt Reynolds?
Oh yeah,
Green Machine,
the longest yard. Yes,
the longest yard. Yeah, maybe he'd be playing some prison ball.
Yeah, you know, and I have to tell you, you know, I've always wanted to, you know, make a sequel to a movie like that. Now, the first one was great with Burt Reynolds and
Game Paul. Remember that one?
Yeah. But the second one with Adam Sandler wasn't bad. I have to tell you, and they brought in a lot of wrestlers. They had, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they had a bunch of football players, Brian Bosworth, and a few of those other, what's his name, Romanowski. So it was actually a good movie. I can't tell you that I liked it better than the original, but it was a good, that was a good sequel. That was a good movie. But DeAndre Baker, man, that hurts, man. You know, they were already having a tough. I was already having a tough time last year, and I was hoping this year the second I was going to get better, but that stings. Oh, boy.
All this is fodder for me, Thomas.
One thing that I will say that's got me hopeful is that my GM I know will solve the problem.
Yeah, you know what he'll do? He'll like draft a linebacker or something. They'll sign a few fucking offensive linemen now.
Well,
something
if anybody's
will
paid attention, check the bottom of the scroll. We got the big concert coming up next week. Jeff, I know you. I don't know if I know you can't comment, but can you go to the events pages and stuff like that, or you can't do anything but just?
Yeah, I may be able to. I know that you invited me to it.
Yes, but I haven't seen. I haven't gone on it in a while. But when I last looked, there were 40-some people already saying they were coming to an event that's online.
Yeah. What is the name of the said event?
The said event is the concert to support Jeff and anti-politically correctness.
Oh, there we go.
How many people come?
Oh, wow.
Really?
Wow. Holy shit. There is 46 going or interested.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow.
That's just I put that up this afternoon.
People that are going: Lisa Yeno, Billy Graz, my cousin Bernie, my cousin Allison, my nephew, you, my cousin Dawn, my wife, Tom Lorenzo, Tony Gunn, my cousin Robin, me mum, Bill Graziano, Al Albanese, Jay Giasio, Raul Fuentes. There's just so many of them, man. Wow.
So I'm trying to convince Tony Gunn to perform. I got, like I said, Jay's in, Raul's in, Father Bob's in, and Bill Graziano's in. The only problem with Bill is he doesn't have a computer to use. I have to figure that one out. I don't know if that might cause a problem. I don't think you can do this from a.
Well, maybe what he can do is maybe he can make a video and send it to you ahead of time, and you could post it.
That's possible. I could try to do that. So I'm gonna try some things. I'm gonna work on this weekend with some of the guys. So now again, I asked you if you were gonna wear anything special. You told me you might not even wear pants. So I'm nervous. I think at the very least you should have one of those shirts, the black shirts with the tuxedo on it. I think you should have one of those.
I'll see what I got. I don't have to wear a suit or anything,
no,
right?
You don't have to. Listen, it's your event. You can wear whatever you want, but you do have to make a speech.
Okay.
You have to make a legit speech. I'm not sure. I think you have to do a speech to open and to close the event.
Okay.
It's your event.
That's fine.
It's all about you. Like I said,
it's not about me, bro. It's not about me. This is bigger than me, because if all of these people are coming into this, it's not so much the showing of support for me as it is to realize that this could happen to anybody.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Asking if that's a tranny is really not that bad.
Nope.
You know, and whether somebody is following me and reporting me, or it's Facebook, whatever the case is, it's just not right, man. It's just not right.
Nope, it's not. But like I said, this is all going to happen on May 23rd at 8:00 at night. We're going to have some fun for a couple hours. We'll have some great music. I might try to I think we might have to think about performing ourselves.
Yeah,
might have
give
to
me a
do-
song, man. Give me a
We
song.
might have to come up and we'll have to fly in a singer, and maybe we'll have to do a song. I'll have to let's think about that. I can get the acoustic out over here. You get your acoustic bass.
Let me know what goes.
All right, let's think about that. We may have to get you involved. Maybe we'll have to get you involved with all the acts, and maybe play a song with each one. We'll have to maybe think about that.
Well, we'll see. I'm maybe.
Too busy.
You know what happens when we have events like this? I have other orders of business I must attend to.
Well, the good thing is you're not anywhere near a bar, so that's the good thing.
Well, the bar will be here.
That's true. But that'll be next Thursday night. So make sure if you're listening and you haven't responded, please do. Please subscribe.
Well, it's next Saturday night, right? A week from this Saturday.
A week from Saturday.
Yeah, that's exciting, man.
So I was going to do it next Thursday, to be honest with you. But I want to be home before it to get set up, and I don't want to have to scramble to get on the air and all that stuff. So
no, listen, dude, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And like I said, like I keep saying, this is a big thing because this is raise awareness to this because it could happen to anybody. It's just not fair.
Very true. So we'll be here. We'll be here. We'll get some more people together. Make sure you guys go to our Hard Rocket Sports YouTube page. There's a bunch of promotional videos, some of our past interviews. The Tommy John interview, I have to tell you, I've gotten tons of people calling me and sending me messages. That was one of the best interviews we've ever had. So that's up there now. But my brother's doing another promotional video like we did for Carmine Appice, who I think will be on. And by the way, if you get a chance to read Carmine's book, it's one of the best books I've ever read.
Okay, I got to get a chance. I got to get it. First, I wait for a bookstore to open.
If you're going to read it, I'll send it to you. I'll get
it. Wait, you know what? Listen, we're going to. I was actually speaking to Paul and Julia last night.
Okay.
And I got the new set out in the backyard, and it's going to happen soon. We're going to have a barbecue soon.
Okay.
And social distancing and all this other shit. I don't care about the fucking virus. I want people here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And you know, their backyard is big enough that we can all hang out and be away from one another. And, you know, so once it gets a little warmer, that it stays warmer, we're going to start to pick out a date. And, you know, hopefully we could enjoy ourselves. But if not, we're going to have it anyway and just have some friends over. It'll be you, Paul, your wives, you know, Julia and Edie and my wife. And, and at least we'll get to hang out a little bit and, you know, have a few beers. And
I'm waiting for Paul to get back to us. He's another one that's been invited to perform with his sons.
And speaking with Paul last night, that and this was purely by accident that we kind of spoke. He's trying to figure out what it is that he's going to do.
Okay, so he's interested.
He told me I would reach out to him, but he's trying to figure out exactly what it is he's going to do to add to the to the show.
Okay, so yeah, I found out today that we could actually have 10 people on. We could have 6 at one time. And
oh wow!
We could have 6 people on at one time, and we could have 10 total for the show.
Wow.
Yeah. So so right now I think I have 6 acts plus me and you, and then I got Mark Scott. I think is either going to video in or at least call in on the radio show portion if I can get that to work ever again, or if I don't bail on that because I think that's coming to an end.
The radio?
Yeah, that's coming to it. I just got to find a way to get my father. There's a way to get phone calls. I got to spend a little money on an apparatus, but I got to get my dad on the way he can log in and just be on the show.
Dude, there's got to be a way. If you're gonna do this live, there's got to be a way that he just calls in from his phone and mic your phone.
No, I don't know. I have to kind of think. There is actually a way that I can get phone calls to the computer and turn it around. So I got to work on it. I just have to spend.
Because to tell you the truth, when that guy Damon came on tonight, you know, these people be like, you know, imagine getting Geezer Butler again, and there he is.
No,
you know what I mean?
I've spoken to our executive producer and told him that from now on, I want the guest to do this because I think this is a better interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do. I think it also puts a little more pressure on you to be part of the interview, which is always good for me.
Well, you saw what I did before. I went downstairs and had soda and cake.
breakfast at the dinner of champions. So
there you go.
But let's wrap this up so Jeff can get on to other things, and I'll start the thank yous and say let's say thanks to everybody who's listening on Facebook, paying attention to our show. Thanks for Big Lou Pica, who's turning into our official.
Let me ask you something. Who the fuck is Lou Pica?
You don't know Lou?
No, do I?
I'm not sure. Lou is a guy I've known since 1994. Played softball, football, and we were, hung out together. One of the nicest human beings you're ever going to meet, from one of the nicest families you're ever going to want to meet. Not a guy you, back in his day, you didn't want to get Lou angry. Very, not the guy you want to get angry.
Hulk smash type of shit.
Yes. But one of the best athletes you ever going to want to meet. I will post a picture of Lou when I get off the air, so you can see it. But Lou's a
no
friend.
homo, Lou. No homo.
Lou's
just want to know what you look like. That's all.
Yeah, Lou's a big sports fan, and he's also a big music guy. He was around listening to the Tommy John interview and Mark Farner, and a big Yankee fan, huge Giant fan. So I'm gonna actually try to get Lou to come on the show a little once in a blue moon and kind of go at you with our Giants.
He's a Giant fan.
Yeah, but he's not a fan of Gettleman either. So just to put it out there, Lou's not a fan.
Well, I'm looking. I got like a porn star mustache.
Yeah, if porn star was on Duck Dynasty,
maybe. Well, how about this? Now it's just a porn star mustache.
That's true. You know, like a retarded Carmine Appice.
Oh, be careful now.
You got to see. I'm gonna want him getting booted off the air. But yes, everybody's got a right when they go next week, and I want to make the announcement to be part of my speech on the opening of the show that you must write. Is that a tranny when you get on? So everybody.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, everybody's gonna write it. So, but make sure that's that. So come back next Thursday night. We'll be doing the show again. I think we have a guest, but I really don't care at this point.
Hey, look at this.
But the sexy picture. It's just a sexy picture.
Right. And you want to, I know you can't see it from here.
Go ahead.
But my dog came upstairs.
Yeah.
To hang out. She's sacked out on the bed. My wife is sacked out downstairs.
Oh, so your dog's up here hanging?
Yeah, the dog's completely sacked out, man. Right there in the middle of the bed.
When you get off the air, check out the guy from Barstool Sports. I don't know if you know the story. You got to look it up. I think his name is Dave Portnoy or Mike. Dave Portnoy, I believe it is, from Barstool Sports. He's been like a thorn in Roger Goodell's side.
Why?
Because I don't guess he doesn't like Goodell, and I guess it's a publicity thing. He actually did like a protest in front of the NFL offices. He was thrown out of one of the Super Bowls, literally carried out of the stadium, causing a ruckus. He created this shirt, a Goodell shirt, like an anti-Goodell shirt that made him money. So wait, he bids on a charity, and the charity is for $250,000. He gets to hang in Roger Goodell's man cave with him for 8 hours, and they go to a football game together. It is the funniest thing. When you get a chance, look it up. It's got to be on Bleacher or ESPN.
This is real?
Yeah, it's dead serious. It was in today's paper. I meant to get it into the show tonight. I'll bring it in next week, but look it up. It's Barstool Sports and Roger Goodell. The guy, Goodell hates this guy, and now he has to have him in his man cave for like 8 hours.
I got to write this shit down right now.
You got to look it up.
Barstool Sports?
Yeah, Barstool Sports. You got to get yourself one of these kind of pads, and you got to walk. You got to keep it where you kind of hang, and you kind of jot notes down, and this is what I do. So that way, but yeah, it's the funniest thing ever. So that's something new for we'll talk
that
about
sounds funny. Just because you don't like him and he's gonna hang with him.
It's bad if he's got to go to a game with him, but he's got to have him in his house.
That's great. That's fucking great.
It's great. But thanks to everybody who's listening tonight. Thanks to Big Lou Pica specifically for throwing some info our way. Thanks to big sexy Nick Marino for his hard work and booking guests, and thanks to Damon Johnson for giving us almost an hour.
Yeah,
that's a really fun guest. And Damon gets a poster on the wall if we get Alice Cooper out of it. By the way,
I'm sure he gives a fuck about that.
I care. So I'm going to send him an email. Again, thanks to everybody who's out there listening and everybody who helps us get on the air every week. And thanks to my dad for checking in every week like he always does. And Jeff, you got anything you want to say?
No, man, a little bit more than a week before the big concert, which I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
And by that time, I'll only be 17, 18 days away from coming back.
Well, listen, get your speech ready, get your attire ready. The one problem with tonight, Jeff, is no radio show. I can't end the show the normal way. I'm gonna have to work on something to be able to close the show with our preserve like a live like a preserved moose.
Well, that does suck.
Yes,
but I think I have a way.
You do.
I might have a way.
Okay.
Let me see. Give me a second.
Go for it.
All right.
I might have a way. Hold on a second. Also, work on yours. I will work on mine because we can't close the show without it.
What the fuck? Oh, here we go.
Do you feel that playing rock and roll music keeps you a child?
Can you hear this?
That is, keeps you in a state of arrested development?
No. I feel it's more like going to a national park or something, and they preserve the moose, and that's my childhood up there on stage is that moose, And
so when you're playing, you feel like a preserved moose on stage.
Yeah.
As we showed, see if you can hear this if it plays on through here also.
Go ahead. No, I don't hear it.
Okay, so I don't know why it's not. I got to work on that this week. That'll be something I work on. Okay, but guys, thanks to my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Towinski, and make sure you guys he's collecting money and panties and a whole bunch of other things while he's on his ban from Facebook in jail.
But
what?
The panties.
Go ahead.
Slow down. Okay, I don't mind getting a few pairs. You can't be over a size 10. They can't be a full cover. Okay, have to just be an accentuation piece. Okay.
All right. Well, he has some particulars, so make sure you guys. You can't hit him up on Facebook, but so you can text him. But come on back next Thursday night. We'll be back to do this all over again. And, of course, make sure May 23rd you're in your seats, ready for the big concert to support Jeff and against political correctness. So, Jeff, thanks, brother. Great show. Great show. Another great show in the books. We'll see you guys next week. Have a safe weekend. It's going to be a nice weekend. Hopefully you guys will be allowed out there, and we'll come back and we'll see you next week. Jeff, have a good night, brothers. I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You too, man. Get that saddle done.
I'm all over it, man. I'm all over it.
This will be your chance. I know that you're probably going to say no, but you may get one chance at this.
Go ahead.
Convince her it has to be welded. You could buy a welding machine.
Yeah, I'll get an arc welder for the house. No problem. It'll be
Think about it.
Everybody have a great night. Enjoy yourselves and be careful this weekend.
All right, man. Be good.
Later, brother.
Later.